Look at Lin Yan in front of you. Ace was stunned. Never expected it. The first person from the Whitebeard pirates to land on the execution platform was actually the latest recruit from his father as the new captain. At the same time, all the soldiers on Marine's side, including Vice Admiral, were no longer calm. No one expected it. Their Sengoku and Garp team-up was actually defeated by the captain of the Whitebeard pirates. Although Garp and Sengoku are waning, they are almost as old as Whitebeard. But after all, he was the one who once carried their marine here. Even those as strong as the Golden Lion were defeated by the two of them. What about now? The combined efforts of the two. Unexpectedly, he was no match for Lin. Everyone in Marine opened their mouths wide, not to mention how shocked they were. The first one to break out was Akainu. He and Iwaken shared a smile. Then without saying a word, he turned around and ran towards Lin Yan. Yishao wanted to stop him, but it's half a beat too late. Akainu, who is a Marine Admiral. We attach great importance to Marine's honor. Today. What if the Whitebeard pirates really took Ace away in front of the whole world? Then their Marine would be really disgraced. The military spirit cannot be insulted. Anyway, he absolutely cannot let Lin Yan take Ace away. Even at all costs. Don't even think about taking Ace away. Akainu exploded, and his whole body turned into a meteor tail, piercing the sky. A punch hit Susanoo. Look out, Akainu is coming. Ace didn't have time to react. His expression changed and he hurriedly reminded Lin Yan. Although the roasting chain on his body was broken, the handcuffs had not yet been opened. The restraints of Seastone still bound him. There was no way he could help Lin Yan at all. I'm not blind, I can see. Lin Yan shook his head and replied. Akainu rushed forward so powerfully that the sky turned red with the magma erupting from his body. You can use your toes to figure out who is coming. Great eruption. Akainu shouted loudly, and the magma on his arm continued to pile up. At the same time, the size of the arms is also skyrocketing. In the blink of an eye, the magma arms surged more than 20 meters. Just like Luffy in third gear, the huge fist hit Susanoo. Lin Yan was unmoved. It's just that the power of the Thunderblade in Susanoo's hand has become more swollen. With a wave of one arm, a sword energy burst out from the Thunderblade. The sword energy stretches across 30,000 miles. It penetrated towards Akainu. Boom! Akainu's magma fist collided with Thunderblade's sword energy. This moment. The aftermath swept out, and the earth was shaking. Magma shot out, the sword energy vibrated, and the space seemed to be broken. With admiral strength, Akainu was able to run amok. Use your fists. This sword energy was directly shattered by his punch. Go to hell. After the sword energy was shattered, Akainu's momentum continued to rise, with death in his eyes, trying to strangle all the pirates in front of him. Like a tiger descending a mountain, he swooped down again. Facing Akainu's charge, Lin Yan's face was extremely calm. As Akainu approaches, the Thunderblade came out of his hand and was thrown towards Akainu. Illusion. Lin Yan's illusion technique is something he has to explore on his own. There is no way to practice it, so the effect it exerts is not very great. But controlling Akainu for a second or two is more than enough. Strong men clash. Not to mention 2 seconds, 1 second is enough to turn the tide of the battle. It was during this second or two that Akainu felt dizzy. Lin Yan threw a Thunderblade and inserted it directly into Akainu's left arm. Ah! The sharpness of the Thunderblade is far beyond that of ordinary blades. Coupled with the enchantment of tons of thunder and lightning from Thunder Fruit, even Akainu almost couldn't resist it and let out a scream. However, the scream just left his mouth. Lin Yan's next move came one after another. He pressed his eye socket with one hand, and his pupils glowed. Kamui. But I saw it on Akainu's arm. The space has begun to distort. Notice. Garp and Sengoku were not hit by Kamui before. That was purely due to their personal strength, as well as the blessing of Marine 6 Styles Moonwalk and Shao, which allowed them to adjust their body shapes in the air, thus avoiding harm to Chiyu. But what about Akainu? He has been inserted into his left arm by the Thunderblade. The Thunderblade's electric current paralyzed his whole body. There is no way to avoid it. Lin Yan seized the opportunity. Kamui released. Uzumaki had already condensed on Akainu's left arm, and there was only a pop sound. An arm was suddenly thrown into the sky, and the blood in it sprayed out like a fountain. Akainu Admiral. When the Marines witnessed this scene, everyone was filled with jealousy. They couldn't help shouting, within their field of vision. Akainu. An arm was suddenly broken by Lin Yan's ability. That's admirable, he actually lost his arm. And Lin Yan controlled Susanoo to flash forward and came behind Akainu. A brand new thunderblade spread out from Susan's palm again. The 40-meter-long sword struck down vertically with the power to break through all illusions. Boom. The Akainu in front of him looked like a villain struck by a certain little savior's dragon sword. The body split open on the spot and split into two. Then it exploded inch by inch and shattered into pieces in Marineford. What? Seeing Akainu being directly wiped out and exploded by Lin Yan, the other two remaining admirals, Kizaru and Aokiji, became uneasy. The two realized a very serious problem. With the fall of Sengoku, Garp, and even Akainu, the top 3 marines. In the huge Marineford, no one can stop the squad leader in front of him. Lost 3 top players in a row. What a strength this is. Are you going to stop me too? Lin Yan among Susanoo raised his thunderblade, pointed at Kizaru and Aokiji and said. Because he kept Susan on for a long time, used Kamui many times in a row, and lost 3 top marines in a row. Lin Yan's Mangekyo also had blood flowing out of it. Like a winding snake, it fell downwards, but even so. Its power is still terrifying, stirring the sky and shocking all directions. Kizaru and Aokiji were silent. In front of them, there are 2 tough opponents, Green Bull and Zephyr. Just 2 people. They, Marine, are no longer able to revolving heaven. Distance. Sengoku climbed up from the ground with difficulty. He pulled out the thunderblade from his body with one hand. Blood suddenly spurted out. But now Sengoku no longer cares about all this. He looks at the situation in front of him with complicated eyes. Not to mention Lin alone. Behind him. But there is also the entire 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Anyone who can stand out casually can defeat their Marine Admiral. How to fight this? 1. Are you going to lose? Sengoku's eyes were full of complexity. Did not think of the summit war that I have planned for such a long time. I thought I could take down the Whitebeard Pirates in one fell swoop and completely establish their status as the Marine Overlord. What you can do depends on people, and what you can do depends on God. No one expected it. This is the newly promoted captain who has just joined the Whitebeard Pirates. Just relying on a 17th Division team. Turn the tide before it falls. Breaking the layout of Summit War and turning the tide of Summit War around. Knock Marine, their sure winner, into the bottom. That's all if the top combat power is the same. Especially since he brought tens of thousands of prisoners to join. Even the battlefield at the bottom has entered a deadlock. All layouts before his Sengoku. It can be said to be a complete defeat. As a marshal for many years, he suddenly felt a deep sense of frustration. His hands were full of powerlessness, and he was powerless to deal with this scene. Revolving heaven. Sengoku closed his eyes in pain, slowly raised his head, and said bitterly. God won't help me. Do you still want to block me? Listening to Lin Yan's questioning, the only remaining 2 people, Kizaru and Aokiji, remained silent. At this moment, a sudden voice came out. Block. Why not block? The person who spoke was none other than Sengoku, who had just stood up. Although he is scarred, even though Garp is unreliable at critical moments. But, as Marine Marshal, he would never allow himself to take a step back. You're not going to leave Marineford today. Akainu, who had just been split and exploded, was also recast in magma, and he walked out of it. Although Lin Yan's slash cut him in 2, it did not damage Akainu's foundation. But Kamui had broken Akainu's arm before, causing him real damage. Even elementalization didn't have time to be used. But even with one arm, he always stands on the same starting line as Sengoku. Lin, in today's battle, you defeated 3 of us Marines in a row, and you have established yourself as the 5th Emperor of the Sea. But after a long confrontation, you should have reached your limit. Sengoku stared at Lin Yan's bleeding eyes and said. Lin Yan did not answer. Sengoku is right. Now I am indeed almost reaching my limit. In that case, let's end this war completely. Sengoku shouted loudly. They, Marine, still have some methods that they haven't used yet. Get the phone bug out. Sengoku shouted into the phone bug. Let's start. Finished in Sengoku. People on the side of the Whitebeard Pirates feel something. They quickly look behind them. Even Whitebeard looked towards the rear of the Whitebeard Pirates. On the distant sea level, a total of 500 warships, far superior to Buster Call, were pressing towards Marineford in a dark mass. Army. Warship. How come? Why are there marine warships deployed in our rear area? I'm telling you, Marine has something they haven't brought to the table. Warships are their trump card for ruling the sea. At a glance, there must be at least 400 to 500 ships. Oops, our Whitebeard Pirates' rear is unguarded. Many crew members in the Whitebeard Pirates group felt their hearts sinking after seeing this scene. Buster Call is scary enough. It can be said to be one of Marine's hidden strengths. Bullet, who was as powerful as he was back then, and whose strength was close to that of Roger Whitebeard, and who had a devil air, also suffered under this Buster Call. Now, this is such a dark place. That was an artillery bombardment that was several times more powerful than Buster Call. Just the number of guards on this group of warships. It moved as many as 50,000 Marines, just imagine. 50,000 people were kept lurking nearby, and no matter what kind of commotion broke out at the summit warsite, they never took action. How far does Sengoku have to endure? Now Ace is taken away. Out of necessity, he could only use this last trump card. Not for anything else. As long as the Whitebeard Pirates can be wiped out today. That victory still belongs to the Marine. At the same time, with Marine putting pressure on the rear, Marineford's side is no less generous. The surrounding city walls suddenly began to rise higher. The rise of the city wall helps their artillery fire have a longer range. On top of the city wall, all Marines began to adjust the trajectory of their artillery fire. Target the Whitebeard Pirates in the distance. In front was the artillery fire high on the city wall, and behind was the pressure of 500 warships that far exceeded Buster Call. Fire. Sengoku gives orders. All of a sudden, gunfire on the high wall, Buster Call's warships all launched. Tens of thousands of huge firepower came towards them, the Whitebeard Pirates. No, stop these artillery fire. Marine's arsenal is not comparable to the cannonballs on ordinary pirate ships. Facing Marine's desperate fight, the pressure on the Whitebeard Pirates has doubled. Marco, Josie, Bista and others immediately came to the rear of the Whitebeard Pirates, and the captains began to use their abilities to hold up half of the sky. And the artillery fire on the high wall on the front battlefield of Marineford. Gravity magnetic field. The smile with eyes closed is also the activation of the gravity fruit. In the terrifying gravitational magnetic field, the cannonballs hit the ice in front of Marineford Bay vertically. The tree world is coming. Green Bull also slapped the ground with one hand and activated the 3 bedrooms and 1 living room technique. Countless vines grew, and a huge forest wall rose from the ground. The two of them worked together to block all the gunfire in front of them. However, a wise man will make a mistake every time he thinks. There was so much gunfire on Marineford and Buster Call. Tens of thousands of artillery fire bombarded them every second. No matter how hard everyone on the Bai Tuan side resisted. After all, there is a time when everything is sparse. Some tiny shells passed through everyone's defenses and bombarded the surroundings of the Whitebeard Pirates. Many unlucky affiliated pirate group ships were hit. The moment it exploded, half of the ship was blown up. Countless people were drowned in the gunfire. I saw water entering the cabin and half of the ship being sunk. Everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates group was so shocked that their eyes bulged out. The power of this cannonball. How much explosives did Marine mix into it? You really don't have any moisture at all. Luffy was shocked and jumped up and down after seeing this. He suddenly remembered the moment when Mr. Garp grabbed a cannonball and bombed him Thousand Sunny. This power. It's almost as good as the cannonballs in the old man's hands at that time. This is not enough. Sengoku is riding a horse. First, Shichibukai was ordered to join the battle. If he continued to paddle and watch from the sidelines, after this battle, the so-called 7 warlords of the sea were all replaced. Although the Empress, Hawkeye, Doflamingo and others are not very interested in Marine, especially Sengoku's orders. But this legal pirate still has too many benefits for them. Everyone did not stop and took action one after another. Akainu, Aokiji, and Kizaru followed closely, leading all the vice admirals into the formation. It was another artillery attack from 2 sides, and Marine himself spared no effort to cover it up. Situation. For them, the Whitebeard Pirates have completely entered a disadvantageous situation. Even if there are prisoners joining, the strength of the troops is still very different after all. Lin Yan looked at the situation in front of him, then shook his head and said. He had expected that Marine would be ambushed by warships. But he didn't expect it. If Marine doesn't make a sound, it will already be a blockbuster. The attack was a total of 500 Marine warships. It is indeed a marine that has stood tall in the sea for more than 800 years and has never fallen. This background, it certainly lives up to its reputation. And most importantly, even after the Summit War started, there were still many marine soldiers stationed around the world, in Paradise, in the New World, and other places to guard the world. Its strength, its heritage, and its financial resources. It's really not something that ordinary forces can compare to. Many people say that Marine is no match for the 2-4 Emperor's pirates joining forces. In fact, this is all wrong. That's just Marine trying to preserve his strength, and it's not worth going to war with those Sea Emperors. If you really use all your strength, call all the Marines in the world. This quantity. At least 1 million people. Let alone 2-4 Emperors joining forces, even if all 4 Emperors unite. When facing this Marine, which is like a majestic mountain, it is extremely difficult to climb and win. Even if you win, that was also a miserable victory. Marine's foundation is still there. With a wave of their hand, the world conscription was launched. Countless strong men poured into Marine's command. Marine could quickly replenish his vitality. What about the other 4 Emperors groups? Once the vitality is severely damaged, it is difficult to reach the sky again if you want to regain the position of Emperor of the Sea. On this side, it's already a huge gap. While Lin Yan lamented the deep roots of the Marine tree, he also had to lament that the so-called 4 Emperors were still too small. Time waits for no one. Ace has been rescued. There is no point in fighting anymore. It's time for them to retreat. Lin Yan wants to leave Marineford with Ace, but would Marine let him leave so easily? Sengoku, Akainu, Aokiji, Kizaru, a group of Shichibukai and all the Marine vice-admirals were dispatched. Even though some of them are now in poor condition and seriously injured. But there is only one goal in sight, that is to get Ace back. 8-foot beautiful Magatama, Meteor Volcano, Ice Age, Dark Acupoint. The 3 admirals launched their ultimate moves one after another. In order to get Ace back, in order to maintain Marine's dignity. Summit War. They have no room for error. However, at the moment when everyone is giving their best effort. In the air, a black Uzumaki suddenly appeared. As one of the last 7 warlords of the sea, Marshal Teach finally appears in Summit War. Actually, Blackbeard wanted to hold back until the end. When the Marine and Whitebeard pirates were fighting and both sides were losing, he stood up and snatched away the shock fruit. But even he didn't expect it. The latest recruit of the Whitebeard pirates is the captain of Division 17. The strength is actually so strong. Help the building to collapse. He forcibly helped the shaky Whitebeard pirates up. He even defeated famous marine figures such as Sengoku, Garp, and Akainu in succession, destroyed the execution platform, and took away the ace that Marine wanted to execute. Now I see Lin Yan is about to retreat. He can't sit still anymore. Don't take action at this time. When will it be more? As for the plans made before, what a plan. Once Ace returns to the Whitebeard pirates, it will be like a stone sinking into the ocean, and there is no way he can fish it back out. Whitebeard will definitely evacuate Marineford as soon as possible. Blackbeard thought about countless possibilities. But he never thought that the Whitebeard pirates could retreat calmly. If the worst outcome occurs, the Whitebeard pirates evacuate Marineford. That's bad news for Blackbeard, because from now on, the Blackbeard pirates will never have peace in the New World. There is no place to stand. Teach. The moment he saw Blackbeard appear, Ace was the first to clench his fists. He gritted his teeth and glared at Blackbeard. Ace remembered the day he lost to Blackbeard. This is for him. It is a great shame and a great stain in life. Teach, I thought you were hiding all this time. On the Moby Dick, Whitebeard also saw Blackbeard standing on Marine's side at this moment. Thinking that Blackbeard had ruined his family and even caused the tragic scene of the Summit War. Unconsciously, Whitebeard's veins gradually bulged, and he wanted to crush his head with one hand. Teach. The other captains and crew members also had hatred in their eyes. If he hadn't captured Ace, the Whitebeard pirates wouldn't have fallen to this. Lin, if you want to leave Marineford, hand over Ace to me. Blackbeard doesn't care how much Whitebeard, Ace, and the entire Whitebeard pirates hate him. In his eyes, only Lin Yan and Ace next to Lin Yan. Ha! After listening to the other party's words, Lin Yan laughed contemptuously. Who is it? It turns out to be the mastermind behind the Summit War. Can't you sit still? Stop talking nonsense and hand over Ace. Blackbeard continued to press. HMPH, who do you think I am, handing it over as soon as I say it? Lin Yan glanced at Blackbeard and said calmly. If you don't drink the toast, you'll be punished with a drink. Since you insist on being an enemy of our marine, then go to hell. Although Blackbeard was hiding and watching, he was someone who had seen Lin Yan's strength with his own eyes. It is simply impossible for him to face Lin Yan alone. In a witty exchange, he even added marine to the list of verbal abuses. Hear this. There was a hint of contempt in Lin Yan's eyes. It's so shameless. Immediately afterwards, he lifted Ace up. In Ace's surprised and puzzled eyes, Lin Yan threw him towards Green Bull. Green Bull, go on. The vines in Green Bull's hand spread out and steadily caught Ace, who was hitting him like a bowling ball. Lin Yan continued. The priority is to retreat now. The three of you take Ace and return to the Whitebeard pirates. Yi Xiao, Green Bull, and Zephyr also knew that the situation was not optimistic. After thinking for a while, they nodded. Then they all returned in the direction of the Moby Dick. In fact, the reason for letting them go is very simple. Lin Yan also saw it. The three of them really didn't want to be enemies with Marine. It was enough for him to help him delay several admirals. Next, it's Lin Yan's turn to deal with the aftermath. When the three returned to the Moby Dick, Lin Yan also came to Luffy Buggy's side. He asked Buggy and Luffy to take the prisoners and supernovas back to the Moby Dick. It's time for them to retreat. Really? Buggy, who had long wanted to stay here, was overjoyed. Madam, it's too dangerous. When I first entered Summit War, he regretted it on the spot. If I had known earlier, I should have stayed in jail and never come out. Good. Luffy also agreed very much. After seeing that Ace had been rescued, he knew it was time to leave. Their hands and feet are extremely quick. The prisoners followed them and gathered back on the Moby Dick. Let's talk about the Whitebeard pirates. Whitebeard also ordered all the crew members to abandon the fleet attached to the pirate group and land on the 4 Moby Dick mother and daughter ships. Marine's artillery fire coverage is too dense. Even if the squad captains tried their best, it just protected these 4 Moby Dick. Soon, the entire Whitebeard pirates include all prisoners and supernovas. All gathered aboard the 4 Moby Dicks. Whitebeard also wants Lin Yan on board. Lin Yan refused. The Marines behind him were all watching, and someone had to stay to break up the rear. Whitebeard heard this. I also know that the situation is not optimistic. There have to be trade-offs, and Lin Yan's strength has exceeded his imagination. Then, he waved his hand. The 4 Moby Dicks sailed towards the 500 Marine warships. Whitebeard shook with one arm. Shock fruit breaks out. He directly opened a huge hole in the several warships in front of him. 4 Moby Dicks took their chance, driving towards the opening. When the other warships saw this scene, their artillery fire became even more intense. Just as the cannonball was about to hit the Moby Dick, Yi Xiao and Green Bull took action. Although the two of them could not protect the large Whitebeard pirate fleet, they were more than enough to protect 4 pirate ships. Their devil fruit activates again. All the artillery shells were intercepted by them. And Moby Dick is also at full power, not giving Marine any chance to react. Sangoku looked at Whitebeard and wanted to evacuate. He couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Once the white team is allowed to evacuate, Marine will really lose. Just when they want to stop it, Susan took a step forward. When you step on the ice trembles. Lin Yan stood in front of all of them and said, well, to be honest, I actually plan to use the last bit of strength to escape. But since you want to obstruct it, then go through me first. Sangoku was secretly angry. Do you want to end the marriage alone? Lin Yan smiled. Yes. Blackbeard also sneered. You think too highly of yourself. Do you think you can stop us with your own strength? Lin Yan glanced at them indifferently, then calmly said. How will you know if you don't try? It's no use talking anymore, come on. People are really weird. How long has it been since you joined the Whitebeard pirates? Then what? I am actually working so hard to give the Whitebeard pirates a chance to leave here. He even hesitated to stay alone to break up the family. To know. In front of him, there was the entire Marine senior management plus tens of thousands of Marine soldiers. Think of this. He covered his forehead and burst into laughter. Perhaps. Unknowingly, it has been completely integrated. Integrated into this magnificent pirate world. Seeing Lin Yan actually blocking their entire top Marine combat power by himself, plus tens of thousands of Marine elites on the scene. Everyone was amazed by Lin Yan's handiwork. How conceited is that? They admit it. Lin is very strong. So powerful that even Sengoku and Garp joined forces. They were all defeated by his miraculous ability. But a long confrontation. Even the squad leader's physical strength is close to its limit. The results of it? They are all at the end of their rope. He also plans to divorce his wife alone. Keep them for a full 100,000 Marines. Are you planning to die together? Friendly reminder, if we don't take action, our Whitebeard pirates will withdraw. While they were dazed for a moment, Lin Yan even took the initiative to remind them. On Marineford's Bay front, all we can see here is the sails of the Whitebeard pirates. Come together and kill him. The first one to jump out was Blackbeard. He raised his dark fruit and hit Susanoo with a dark acupoint. The moment Blackbeard took action, Akainu followed closely. Go to hell. Behind Akainu, there are Kizaru, Aokiji, Sengoku, and Shichibukai. The entire Marine senior management came forward together. Abilities from all directions swept towards Lin Yan. For Lin Yan, this is the current situation. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as being surrounded by enemies from all sides. His physical strength was also close to its limit. When Susan is turned on for a long time, the blood in Mangekyo Sharingan is also overflowing crazily. However, fortunately, although Lin Yan's physical strength is almost exhausted, but the Marine in front of him was no better. Both sides are at the end of their efforts. The difference is, there are just a little more people here at Marine. Watching the Whitebeard pirates go further and further away. The Marines led by Sengoku also became more and more anxious as they fought. But the more anxious he becomes, Lin Yan, on the other hand, refused to let them go beyond the threshold. The Mangekyo in his eyes was once again released to the limit. Susan reached the peak of her perfection. Thunderfruit also spans thousands of meters. A huge thunder net wall was built. He relied on his own strength to forcefully involve all the Marine troops here. Live confrontation. It lasted for more than 10 minutes. After more than 10 minutes, Lin Yan's physical strength was finally exhausted. The eyes were dim, and the complete body of Susanoo also dissipated, and even Thunderfruit could not be used. Look, he's reached his limit. You will be consumed by us in the end. Although it's despicable to be against a large number of enemies and to be able to hold off our Marine for such a long time, in today's battle, you are enough to become a god. Who's going to kill him? Seeing Lin Yan, who was already dying, some Marines were overjoyed. This hard bone is finally going to be chewed off by Marine. The Marines gathered around Lin Yan. At the same time, the excitement in his eyes could not be concealed. Ready to move. Although Lin Yan became a god today. But if they can kill Lin from his horse, they are no less stepping on Lin to get to the top. He might become famous all over the world in one fell swoop. Tisk ha 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 ha, is this the end of your skills? If you want to say who has the best preserved combat power in the whole game, it is Blackbeard. However, even Lin Yan faced off against Changnuma with his whole body posture. Blackbeard also became more and more frightened as he fought. He finally knew. Why was Lin Yan able to overthrow Marshal Sengoku and Garp the Fist on his own? But after seeing that Lin Yan was completely overdrawn, Blackbeard's eyes showed mockery, pointing at Lin Yan and laughing wildly. Look at you looking so proud. You gathered all the strength of the Marines to surround me alone. You are really yours, Blackbeard. You are the only one in the audience who seems to be very proud. Lin Yan mocked Blackbeard. That's it. Sengoku slowly walked forward and pointed at Lin Yan. More than 10 minutes passed. Lin Yan successfully delayed their entire Marine here. Have to say, his goal of breaking up was achieved. But that's why. It was announced that the Whitebeard pirates had completely left Marineford's Gate of Justice. This war. The way Marine lost, it's over. Thinking of the bitter consequences that will follow and the difficulties that Marine will face in the future. Sengoku's fists were clenched and turned purple. They are now only the last anger vented out on the already exhausted captain of the 17th Division of the White Regiment in front of you. Yeah, that's it. Lin Yan also responded bitterly to Sengoku. How do you want to die? The situation was powerless. Revolving heaven, Akainu glared at Lin Yan with almost gritted teeth. In the eyes, there was only a hint of death. Vent anger. No matter what you say today, the squad leader in front of you will be cut into pieces. If you want me to die, then let me die. Lin Yan was extremely weak at the moment, even so weak that he couldn't even lift his eyelids. Tisk ha 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 ha, it's come to this point, I really didn't expect you to be so stubborn. Blackbeard continued to sneer, and at the same time said to Sengoku, "Marshal, kill him. I believe you have all witnessed his strength. He has reached such a height at such a young age. If he is allowed to develop, he will definitely suffer in the future. He is our marine's biggest enemy." Listen to Blackbeard. Lin Yan is walking on thin ice. Is this what happens to pirates? He slowly closed his eyes. The sound of breathing, heartbeat, and the faint mocking sounds around him all surrounded his ears. It was so noisy that he couldn't get rid of it. Although Marine present didn't have a good impression of Blackbeard. But it's worth mentioning. He's right. In front of me, Lin, the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Can't stay. In that case, let me kill you. Ice condensed in Aokiji's hand, and then an ice blade emerged. Raise your weapon. He was about to kill Lin Yan in front of him. At this time, Lin Yan, who was lying on the ground in an extremely miserable state, burst out laughing. Ha. Ha ha ha. Listening to Lin Yan laugh, Aokiji also stopped what he was doing for a short time. Why are you laughing? It is said that when a person is about to die, his words are also good. He would like to hear it. Lin Yan at this last moment. Is there anything else I want to say? What I'm laughing at is, thank you Marine for not taking action immediately and giving me a chance to escape. Lin Yan closed his eyes and spoke slightly. More than a minute had passed since he was exhausted. Don't underestimate these 60 seconds. Lin Yan's physical strength is recovering rapidly. Zoidan. Aokiji frowned, wondering what he meant by Zui done. Don't you understand? Fine. Because you can't kill me from now on. A smile gradually appeared on Lin Yan's face. Although 60 seconds wouldn't restore much power, it would be enough for him to use Mangekyo Sharingan one last time. Kuzan, get rid of him quickly. Sengoku had a bad feeling and quickly shouted to Aokiji. Unfortunately, it's too late. Aokiji also reacted, but just when he was about to take action. Lin Yan used the power he had just recovered a little on Mangekyo Sharingan. A series of Magatama swirled in his eyes. Kamui, a dish of Uzumaki, appeared next to Lin Yan. Then his whole body was involved. He was surrounded by tens of thousands of Marines at the scene, as well as the entire Marine senior management. Lin Yan disappeared out of thin air in front of all of them. Sengoku, Akainu, Aokiji, Kizaru, even Blackbeard, Hawkeye, Doflamingo and others couldn't help but change their faces slightly. Then a red light flashed out in everyone's pupils, and observation hockey turned on to ultimate. Yet even though they searched all of Marineford, but it didn't catch any trace of Lin Yan. It's like disappearing into this plane. Remove. Disappeared. Why? Why is this happening? Sengoku, Garp, San Admiral and others were shocked and stirred up a storm. Everyone was shocked. Distance from Summit War. 3 days have passed. Within these 3 days, the big news has already spread throughout the world. The whole world, the first half of the Grand Line, and the New World were all abuzz. The pirates raised their arms and shouted, while the Marines were all discouraged. Newspapers spread everywhere. There is no sign of stopping at all. Nothing else. Summit War is the most intense confrontation and battle between Marines and pirates since the Age of Discovery began. Inside the Marine, Sengoku, Garp, 3 admirals, as well as more than 500 warships and hundreds of thousands of elites participated in the battle. They must extinguish the flame of the Whitebeard pirates, the leader of the era. As for the Whitebeard pirates, 4 emperors, a group of captains, 43 affiliated pirate groups, and 20,000 prisoners brought from Impel Down joined. They tried to save Ace under Marine's pressure and win the war. The results of it? No one thought of it. The final victory actually belonged to the leader of the era, the Whitebeard pirates, the leader of the New World 4 emperors. Pirates. He actually defeated Marine, who had stood on this sea for more than 800 years without falling. They successfully climbed to the top by stepping on Marine. In the midst of Marine's final encirclement and suppression campaign, Whitebeard not only got Ace back, he even managed to fight his way through the heavy siege of Marines. Majestic and unstoppable, the Whitebeard pirates. It suddenly became the most popular topic in the entire sea. None of them. Besides, there is another person who has attracted the attention of people all over the world. That is Lin, the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Anyone who has witnessed the entire process of Summit War knows it very well. If it weren't for this new captain who was recently introduced to the Whitebeard Pirates, there is no way the Whitebeard Pirates can win this war so quickly. There is no other reason. This new captain is really awesome. First, sneak into Impel Down and bring out tens of thousands of troops that can alleviate the Whitebeard pirates' urgent needs. To know, the prisoners in Impel Down are all extremely vicious and extremely powerful. They were already hostile to Marine as soon as they entered. Like a tiger among sheep. Greatly eased Marine's pressure on the Whitebeard pirates. Then the 17th Division appeared. Everyone watching was puzzled. Where did this newly promoted division captain find so many heaven-defying strong men? Dragging meteorites to bombard Marineford's Smile, the Tree Realm descending to cover Marineford's Green Bull, and the former Marine Admiral Black Arm Zephyr. 3 people came out. The 3 admirals that Marine was proud of all lost their voices. The war entered a fierce stage. The captain of Division 17 also took action at this moment. If you don't sing, you will be a blockbuster. He relied on his own power to deal with the entire Marine. Defeat Sengoku, Garp, Akainu and other Marines' top combat power in a row. In the end, he was able to block 100,000 Marines by himself. Give the Whitebeard pirates enough opportunity to retreat. More importantly, under the final encirclement and suppression by Marine, he escaped with his last breath. Left Marineford. This ended the unprecedented war since the beginning of the Age of Discovery. Not to mention Marine. Even those watching the battle are aware of it. The captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates is simply heaven-defying. Many newspapers are beginning to speculate. Forest. Maybe a dual fruit ability user. Double fruit? The moment I saw these tidbits, people all over the world couldn't help but stare wide-eyed, and their hearts stirred up again. That is a legendary existence. Many people say that Conqueror's Hockey is the only one who can be born among millions of people. It is a rare item in the game, but even so. In front of the double fruits, Conqueror's Hockey was also wiped out in a matter of seconds. That is a being that may not be born from the beginning of the world to the end of the world. The more I read the newspaper, the more frightened I became, and the more I read, the more confused I became. The Whitebeard pirates really found a treasure. Damn it. Just a team from the 17th Division can stand up to Marine's top combat power and not fall behind. I'm completely stupid. Who isn't? Do you know how excited I was when I saw Lin single-handedly overthrowing Garp and Sengoku? There are still many hidden masters in this sea. If Lin hadn't been introduced, I'm afraid the Whitebeard pirates would have come to an end. With all calculations, who could have predicted this? Marine, that's all. There are many voices from around the world. Some lamented that the Whitebeard pirates were lucky enough to get the SSR Golden Legend directly on the eve of the Summit War. Some people praise the overall strength of the 17th Division. The guys in it are all hard steel Marines with top-notch combat capabilities. There were many people who were gloating over Marine's defeat. Did the absolute overlord on the Grand Line end up like this? Certainly. What's more, he admires and worships Lin, the captain of the 17th Division. Battle of Marineford. He became famous in one battle. With strength beyond imagination. Forest. This name has already conquered everyone all over the world. But, compared to the pirates who raised their arms and shouted, as a civilian, they had bitter smiles on their faces. Never thought of it. Marine, who had high hopes from them. He fell to the pirates, fell to Marineford, and fell in front of the whole world. For them, suffering from pirate invasions, they long for nothing more than Marine being able to put an end to all evil in the world. Provide them with a place to live. Now, all this has become a fleeting glimpse. Turned into a bubble. Disappeared into the depths of this undercurrent of the sea. The Whitebeard pirates. After 3 days of sailing, they finally returned to their base. Although he won this war, naturally, everyone was extremely happy. But while they were smiling and laughing, many people fell silent and were speechless all the way. There were tens of thousands of them on this trip, marching toward Marineford. What about now? Less than half came back. The other half almost suffered injuries of various sizes. Even Whitebeard is seriously ill and dying. The entire pirate group has long lost its former vitality. Forest. Where are the others? Since the Summit War ended, Whitebeard finally couldn't hold on any longer and passed out. During this period, I woke up intermittently several times. Every time I wake up, are they all asking if Lin Yan is back? The answers they got were all shakes of their heads from Marco, Josie and others. You haven't come back yet. Whitebeard closed his eyes in pain. Seeing Whitebeard so worried about Lin Yan's safety, Yishao, Green Bull, Zephyr and others also felt a little regretful. Lin Yan should not have been allowed to take over alone. There simply wasn't any bad news in the newspapers. Hopefully, Team Lin can survive. Sabodi Archipelago, Shaki's Tavern. As usual. Although Shaki's Tavern is not crowded, there are still many customers who visit occasionally. However, just within 3 days of the Summit War ending, the tavern was sparsely populated and no one cared about it. There is even a sign indicating that the business is closed at the gate. The reason is simple. 3 days ago, Lin Yan, the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. He came to them scarred. Lin, when will he wake up? Inside the room, Rayleigh asked with a little worry on her face as she looked at Lin Yan, who was lying on the hospital bed dying. Oh, I've been sleeping for 3 days. All the medicine bottles in the tavern have been used up. Aside, Shaki was also touching her chin, and her eyes were full of worry. Lin Yan's wounds have been bandaged by them. The bleeding wound also recovered as before. Worth to talk about. Both men have many years of sailing experience. You can still observe some simple treatments and cases. Lin Yan has now fully recovered from his injury, and fortunately there is nothing serious. It was just mental fatigue that kept him in a coma for the time being. But that's exactly what happened, generally speaking. Even if you are mentally exhausted, it's not like I've been sleeping for 3 days at a stretch. They weren't really ship doctors, for such a situation. They were helpless. I have to go out to buy medicine again, which makes my already poor wallet even worse. I don't care. If he wakes up, I will kill him severely. Shaki looked at the shriveled wallet and smiled bitterly, while also saying fiercely secretly. You. As for it? Rayleigh covered his forehead and smiled. He glanced at Shaki. Is this because of money? You're not a master, you know nothing. Shaki rolled his eyes at Rayleigh angrily and said. Yes, I don't understand. Rayleigh doesn't argue with Shaki either. Just as the two were preparing to continue caring for Lin Yan. Lin Yan lying on the hospital bed. There are finally signs of recovery. Say, boss lady, I haven't woken up yet. Why are you thinking about killing me? Is there any more royal law? Lin Yan opened his eyes slightly and said. 3 days of deep sleep made his body a little stiff. Back pain. Facts have proved that no matter how strong your physical fitness is, you can't lie down either. Huh? Are you awake? Seeing Lin Yan finally regaining consciousness, Shaki looked surprised. Yes, thank you for taking care of me these days. Lin Yan said to the two of them with a hint of gratitude. The Summit War is over. He relied on his last bit of strength. Send yourself into Kamui's space. It was also through this opportunity. He came to the Sabodi Archipelago not far from Marineford, and arrived at Shaki's Tavern, looking at Lin Yan, who was almost exhausted. Shaki's expression also changed again and again. She looked around and then immediately brought Lin Yan in. After marking the tavern as closed, Rayleigh also rushed back after hearing the news. Under the care of the two, Lin Yan was able to recover. Stop thanking me. There is a charge. You have used up all the medicine I have stored up over the years. Shaki said in a tone that made him see money. The boss lady wants money. How dare I refuse to give it to her? If I have a chance in the future, I will visit her again and thank her with a big gift. Lin Yan and Shaki have known each other for less than a few months. But the other party helped him so personally. Based on emotion and reason, you should thank each other with heavy gifts. Okay, I'm just kidding you. It's not like I can't afford the medicine, so you should rest for the time being. Shaki was just joking, even though she loved killing people. But that's only for strangers, for acquaintances. Generous giving is a no-brainer. By the way, how is the situation on the sea recently? Lin Yan has been sleeping and has no idea about the situation in the outside world. I knew you would ask about this when you wake up. Here are the newspapers from the past 3 days. I have sorted them out for you. Start from the first one and read them one by one. Shaki grabbed a stack of newspapers from the table nearby, then handed the newspaper to Lin Yan and said. Has everything been sorted out? Boss lady, you are so considerate. Listening to the fact that Shaki has already achieved this step for himself, Lin Yan said with surprise in his eyes. Women should be more careful, don't you think? Shaki said with pride. Well, that's the truth. If you were decades younger, I might have chased you. It's rare to see such a considerate girl. Lin Yan expressed his emotion. HMPH, that's right. Listen to Lin Yan's words. Shaki's heart was filled with joy, and a rare smile appeared on his face. At the same time, She cast a cold glance at Rayleigh on the side and muttered, "What a pity, some people seem to be ignorant and have not given any response for so many years." Lin Yan heard this. He glanced at Rayleigh too. A knowing smile in my heart. Rayleigh scratched her head in embarrassment. Looking at Lin Yan and Shaki in front of me, one is playing bad and the other is playing bad. He gave a wry smile. No, I'm just standing here, doing nothing and saying nothing, and I'm going to take the blame? As for ridiculing me like this, you are so cruel. Lin Yan smiled and read the newspaper carefully. About recent news. The general meaning is that the Whitebeard pirates are victorious and have established their position as the Sea Emperor of the New World in one fell swoop. At the same time, Marine was criticized because of Marineford's defeat. In addition to losing its status as the absolute overlord of the sea, people's confidence in them is also not as good as before. More importantly, news of the Summit War's defeat also reached the Holy Land of Marie Joy's. Marie Joy learned of this. 5 elders are furious. They, Marine, took the initiative to start a war, but ended up in this situation. Marine's face was completely humiliated by Sengoku. In order to prevent the situation from getting worse, in order to prevent the spread of public opinion, the 5 elders immediately put all the responsibility for this on Marshal Sengoku. Sengoku became Marine's sinner. It is the target of public criticism and there are complaints. At the same time, he also became the designated scapegoat for the defeat of Summit War. Sengoku. Lin Yan looked at the newspaper in his hand and couldn't help but sigh. In fact, he couldn't say he disliked Marshal Marine. The confrontation between the two in Summit War. It's just that the positions of both sides are different. And after this battle, Lin Yan has finally seen the demeanor of Marshal Marine. Just to prevent Marine from losing face, he placed all the responsibilities on him alone. Lin Yan shook his head. I really have you, 5 elders. Are all of you 5 old guys made of stainless steel, so non-stick? Lin Yan also realized it. No wonder Zephyr is so determined to leave Marine. These old guys. Anyone can become their pawn for their own selfish gain. First Zephyr, then Sengoku. Who will be next? A figure emerged in Lin Yan's mind. Sakazuki, except for Marine and the Whitebeard pirates. Lin Yan also saw reports about himself. First, Whitebeard issued a bounty to the whole world. As long as he could bring Lin Yan back, he would be given a compensation of 1 billion belly. Saw this news. Lin Yan was stunned for a moment. To know. It goes without saying how stingy Whitebeard is. Now he actually spent so much money directly. I can tell. Everyone on the ship was quite worried about their current safety. A trace of emotion appeared on Lin Yan's face. Secondly, Marine also reset the bounty system within these 3 days. Captain, I think you need to see this for yourself. At this moment, Shaki glanced at Lin Yan with a snickering look and handed over another newspaper. Lin Yan subconsciously opened the newspaper and took a look. But at this moment, he was stunned for a long time. There is only one sentence in the newspaper. The reward for Lin, the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, is announced. Bounty? Lin Yan sighed. I've been a pirate for a while, right? Finally. After a battle on top. Are you about to receive a bounty too? He lowered his head. I counted the numbers carefully. But you don't know if you don't see it, after reading it. His whole body was numb. Lin Yan was so shocked that he sat up from the hospital bed. In his eyes, full of disbelief, the waves in my heart can't stop for a long time. Looking at the reward orders that started with 1, 2, 1 and 5, followed by a series of zeros, Lin Yan exclaimed, 25 billion? Yes. Fight on top. He was directly rewarded by Marine with a bounty of up to 2.5 billion belly. What is the concept of 2.5 billion? Even if it's Marco, even if it's the royal lieutenants like Jin. The bounty only reached over 1 billion. What about yourself? It's just a matter of surpassing them, or even reaching the top in one step. Take a look at the entire sea. How many people have a bounty of more than 2.5 billion? It is not an exaggeration to describe it as a handful. It's come to this point. It's no longer the description of the Emperor's deputy. That is the real Emperor. The Sea Emperor of the New World. Did I count wrongly? Lin Yan couldn't help but count again. Captain, you did not lose wrong. We have already counted them for you many times while you were asleep. And I have to remind you that apart from you, the people in your 17th Division have also been issued wanted notices by Marine. Shaki put the smile on her face away, and she spoke slowly. Except Lin Yan. With a smile, Green Bull and others were directly rewarded by Marine with a huge sum of 1 billion Baileys. Zephyr is the former Marine Admiral after all. In addition, there are many disciples in Marine, and Marine feels ashamed to be with him. Therefore, no reward was issued. But, the moment Marine announced this, it also caused a storm on the sea. Lin Yan, the squad leader, has 2.5 billion, and his two subordinates have 1 billion each. The total adds up to a total of 4 billion Baileys. 4 billion. I'm afraid New World's 4 emperors are no more than that. Who can imagine? In a small squad, there are so many boss-level figures hiding there. It really makes people take a breath of cold air and lament how terrifying it is. Lin, do you know what the bounty issued by Marine means? Next to him, Rayleigh added in a solemn voice after taking a sip of wine. What does it mean? Looking at Rayleigh, who was so solemn, Lin Yan turned around and asked. Back then, even Roger, Whitebeard, Golden Lion, and even me all came from the 100 million bounty step by step. Do you know that the moment the news spread, how many people went crazy because your first bounty reached 2.5 billion belly? Rayleigh placed the wine gourd on the table and continued in a deep voice. When the reward offered by Yishao, Lu Niu and others was announced, everyone on the entire sea was just slightly stunned. After all, 1 billion belly is not a lot, but it is a lot less. It can be regarded as reaching the level of the Emperor's deputy. And in the Summit War, one of them fights Akainu and the other fights Kizaru. The strength shown is worthy of such a high number. But, the moment Lin Yan's reward was announced, everyone in Dahai was quiet for a while, sluggish, confused, in disbelief. Then tens of thousands of pirates couldn't help but burst into excitement. 2.5 billion belly. This has reached the true imperial level. More importantly, the previous Lin Yan had no name, and there was not even a reward. What does that mean? What does it mean? This is the first bounty offered by Lin, the captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. The first reward. To reach such a height? Damn it. Is this real? Some people saw the reward announced in the newspaper. Everyone was dumbfounded. They rubbed their eyes vigorously to focus their vision. I want to make sure I'm not dazzled. 1 0 is missing, or one number is missing. Just as Rayleigh thought. Even Roger, the pirate king who was so powerful back then, and Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. And Golden Lion Shiki, the captain of the Sky Pirates who single-handedly trampled Roger and Whitebeard under his feet and one of the legendary 3 great pirates. It's just starting from a reward of 100 million, sailing step by step, practicing step by step, and getting stronger and bigger step by step. Only then did it achieve its current position on the sea. What about Lin Yan? They skipped all their previous processes in one step. Join the ranks of sea emperors in the New World. The Whitebeard Pirates. This is the time to give birth to 2 emperors-level powerhouses. The last 3 days, the newspaper about Lin Yan directly broke the news in grand line. The TNT contained in it is immeasurable. Want it to stop. Let alone 10 days, let alone 100 days. Notice. The Summit War is a war that will affect the future pattern of the sea in the next 10 or 20 years. In other words, this battle, over the next 20 years. I'm afraid I won't be able to calm down anymore. How about it? The bounty offered by Marine reached such a high level for the first time, even surpassing Roger in one fell swoop. Whitebeard, what do you think? Shaki asked with a smile from the side. Feelings? What else can you think of? As the saying goes, a big tree attracts the wind. I guess there will be no good days in the future? After Lin Yan finished reading the newspaper, he put his head in his hands and leaned back on the hospital bed. He said slowly. Indeed. Don't look at them. The Whitebeard Pirates won this Summit War. But next. For the disgraced Marine. They are the first to be targeted and bear the brunt. The road ahead. It's a bit hard to leave. Meanwhile, Naval Headquarters. Compared with the tens of millions of people outside, this unprecedented battle was shocked. Can be a party. Marineford is much quieter here. Countless Marines were mobilized to take care of the huge scene and clean up the bloody corpses. Marineford used to be thriving. Now it is like a hell on earth, with ruins and ruins unsightly. In the marshal's office, Sangoku sat quietly in the room. His eyes swept towards Garp, he, Akainu and others. His eyes were dim and his expression was vicissitudes of life. At this moment, he seemed to be more than 10 years older. Sangoku waved his hand and said, "Stop gathering here with me, let's all disperse." Look at Sengoku like this. The most uncomfortable thing to say. Look no further than Garp. On one side is his grandson, on the other side is his good friend. For Sengoku, Garp feels deeply indebted. After Akainu, Kizaru, Suru and the others were gone, Garp walked step by step to Sengoku's side and asked, "Sengoku, are you okay?" Sengoku's eyes were closed and he opened them slightly. He glanced at Garp and said, "Why aren't you leaving?" Garp pondered for a while and said, "Summit War, I'm sorry for you." Nowadays, the overwhelming pressure was all concentrated on Sengoku. The defeat of the Summit War. As the marshal, Sengoku cannot absolve himself of the blame. Even with the help of the 5 elders, he became the culprit, Marine's sinner. And at the end of the day, Garp also has to bear certain responsibilities. Feel sorry? Hearing this, Sengoku shook his head bitterly. Is it too late to say sorry now? Garp lowered his head and finally couldn't help but sigh. Yes. That's too late, since Roger started the Age of Discovery. A large number of pirates poured into the Grand Line, which doubled the pressure on the Marine. Whether it's the 4 Seas, Paradise, or New World, almost everyone is frantically replenishing their troops. But even so, the number of pirates who sail out to sea every year far exceeds their Marine estimates. There are even signs of being out of control. And the more important it is at this juncture, the more Sengoku can realize, they Marine should do something. Let it develop. In the future, the absolute dominance of the sea will be threatened. And the Whitebeard pirates are at dusk, became their primary target. But I want to target it. Easier said than done? 4 emperors. That's the behemoth of New World. Even Marine, known as the #1 force on the sea. You have to be careful before starting a war. Coincidentally, just as Sengoku was thinking about how to declare war on the Whitebeard pirates, Ace, the captain of their 2nd division, fell into his hands. The moment I saw Ace, Sengoku knows. This is their Marine's golden opportunity to wipe out the 4 emperors in one fell swoop. To this end, Sengoku doesn't know how long it took to lay out. Such a pity. No one expected it. Just a squad leader recently recruited by the Whitebeard pirates. All his plans were shattered into pieces. So much so that Marine is now the butt of jokes, being ridiculed for being unable to do anything but overestimating his own capabilities. In addition to cleaning up this huge mess in Marineford, there is also pressure from outside public opinion and pressure from 5 elders. Especially the sentence from 5 elders, the position of Marshal Marine needs to be replaced. Sengoku is helpless in every way. In the end, I could only respond with one word. Good. The other side. Aboard Moby Dick. While Marine was cleaning up the mess at Marineford, they are also sorting out the mess on their own ship. This battle. It's not just Marine that has suffered huge losses. The Whitebeard pirates also suffered huge losses. Especially looking at the shocking casualty figures. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates fell into deep silence. As the head of the family, Whitebeard was also devastated. He led them to Marineford, regrettably, but he did not bring them back. That's really what I said. War. There are no winners, only losers. Fortunately, just today, they miss Lin Yan deeply. The Moby Dick is back. See Lin Yan coming back. Many division captains showed joy. Even the sadness on Whitebeard's face has dissipated a lot. Lin, are you back? Marco, Josie, Beasta and others rushed up one after another. Are you okay? Yishao, Green Bull, Zephyr and others also asked quickly. Since Lin Yan died alone, their anxious hearts never ceased. Now Lin Yan is back safely. Their anxious hearts were finally relieved. In the face of everyone's concern, Lin Yan shook his head. He said he was fine. At the same time, he also immediately looked at Whitebeard and asked them how many casualties the pirate group had suffered. But when Lin Yan heard this series of shocking numbers, he also fell silent. Notice. This was the result of him bringing a large number of prisoners to Marineford to join the war, sharing the huge pressure on the Whitebeard pirates. Without the participation of the prisoners, who knows what the casualties will look like? By the way, where are the prisoners? Lin Yan asked. They are currently on board our Moby Dick, Marco replied from the sidelines. After all, the prisoners are not members of the Whitebeard pirates. On this side, Lin Yan had to settle them down. Follow the promises made to them before, after the Summit War. The 2 sides broke up. But today's situation. But Lin Yan had to make a careful choice again. Notice. Although Marine's vitality was severely damaged, his foundation was not damaged. Not to mention, even though many soldiers were missing, as long as they raise their arms, they can also restore most of their elite strength in a short period of time through world conscription. But the Whitebeard pirates are different. This battle almost exhausted the foundation. The crew was dead and wounded. If not handled properly, there may even be someone who falls out of the New World Sea Emperor's seat and want to recover as quickly as possible, make up for the lack of numbers. This group of people were brought out from Impel Down. It's an obvious choice. This is the thought. Lin Yan looked towards Buggy, Crocodile, Jinbei, as well as the supernovas and prisoners. Facing this situation, Lin Yan didn't hide much. He bluntly explained the situation to the prisoners in front of him. According to the original agreement, the summit war has ended. It was also time for them to break up. Only, now that the Whitebeard pirates are severely damaged, it is impossible to recover in a short time. Don't look at the peaceful new world, the main reason. It is the 4 sea emperors who check and balance each other, in order to contain Marine's well-being and not violate the river's waters. Now the Whitebeard pirates have just experienced a great war. The other sea emperors would definitely not let go of such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to gain benefits and territory. According to Lin Yan's thoughts, the prisoners in front of them may not be very interested in the Whitebeard pirates. However, he was wrong. When they learned that Whitebeard, who was part of the 4 emperors pirate group, was willing to extend an olive branch to them, they all became excited. Everyone was excited. And as long as he can successfully join the Whitebeard pirates, they don't need to worry. Marine will settle the score with them from now on. That's all. Fully 90% of the people present were willing to join the Whitebeard pirates. The remaining 10% is for other things, unable to join at the moment. This includes supernovae. Needless to say, Luffy's target is the Pirate King. Kid, Trafalgar Law and others also have ideals. The same goes for other supernovae. For such a situation, Lin Yan let him go, at last, his gaze. Look at Buggy, Crocodile, and Jinbei. Jinbei is originally from the Fishmen Island, and the Fishmen Island is Whitebeard's territory. Therefore, Jinbei did not make a statement, but Buggy and Crocodile are different. Join the Whitebeard pirates. Listening to such tempting conditions, Buggy's Adam's apple rolled. If it were before, let alone Whitebeard, not even Shanks would give him face. But after experiencing Impel Down prison, Buggy realized how insignificant you really are. The most important thing is that he escaped from Marineford as a prisoner. Once Marine settles the score, you won't be able to eat your own good fruit. Joining the Whitebeard pirates is obviously a good choice. And the Lin in front of him is very powerful. During the Summit War, the opponent's performance was always under his radar. It's vivid in my mind. Buggy agreed, but he added, I hope to join your 17th division. No problem. Lin Yan snapped his fingers and said Buggy God Tier was willing to join the 17th division. He agreed with both hands and feet. He looked at Lao Sha beside him and asked, what about you, Crocodile? Didn't we agree to break up at first? Crocodile had a cigarette in his mouth, and the smoke was constantly swirling around him, and he said coldly, the plan can't keep up with the changes. Lin Yan answered with a smile. A good plan can't keep up with changes. What if I don't agree? Crocodile still had a stern expression. This is fine. If you are willing, I strongly agree. If you want to leave, I will never stop you. It's just that considering that you have nowhere to go now, that's why I want you to stay. There are many prisoners who are willing to join the Whitebeard pirates and supplement the combat power within the Whitebeard pirates. This is enough for Lin Yan. Crocodile is strong. But if you don't want to join, Lin Yan won't be embarrassed either. Snort. Crocodile listened to Lin Yan's tone and snorted coldly. His eyes swept over Lin Yan, Buggy, Yishao Green Bull and others. Lin Yan's words, it struck a chord in his heart. Myself currently, there really is nowhere to go. Alabasta's years of plans were ruined. He is no longer one of the 7 warlords of the sea appointed by Marine, let alone a legal pirate. In addition, he escaped from prison and helped the Whitebeard pirates join the war against Marineford, trampling Marine's face severely under his feet. Alone. Unexpected events will inevitably happen in the future. Think about it. It seems that joining the Whitebeard pirates is a good choice. This is the thought. Crocodile raised his proud chin and said swayingly, it's not impossible to join your Whitebeard pirates, but I also have a few requirements. First, I am only interested in your 17th division, so I will only join your 17th division. Secondly, just when Crocodile was about to express his request, Lin Yan intervened and said, "Stop talking, it's okay." Crocodile frowned. "I haven't finished my request yet." "It's okay. I agree to all your requests," Lin Yan promised with a very righteous look. Even Crocodile, who has many years of experience as a pirate, was also shocked by Lin Yan's words. Is this okay? He suddenly realized. Lin Yan is indeed very powerful. But in this regard, it would be too perfunctory for you to ride on the horse. But having said that, Crocodile can also see how hard Lin Yan worked to get himself to join the Whitebeard pirates. Why do I feel like this scene is familiar? Except for Crocodile, Zephyr touched his nose and felt that this scene seemed familiar. Ahem. Lin Yan coughed and said to Zephyr, "Illusion, that's your illusion." That's all. After settling all the prisoners, Buggy and Crocodile also joined the 17th Division. 2 more days passed. During this time, the Whitebeard pirates began to organize their personnel and try to recover as quickly as possible. But at this moment, bad news was delivered to the Moby Dick. First, it was an envoy from the Dragon Palace on the Fishman Island who arrived at the Whitebeard pirates and described the current situation of their Dragon Palace. Turn out to be when the Whitebeard pirates' army marched to Marineford and confronted Marine in Marineford. As another 4 emperors of New World, the members of the Big Mom pirates took the lead in attacking. They immediately sent men to occupy the Fishman Island, occupying this big cake, as long as something unexpected happens to the Whitebeard pirates in Summit War. They will immediately deploy the troops of the Big Mom pirates into the Fishman Island. But what surprised them was, the Whitebeard pirates actually defeated Marine. But the done thing is done. They have taken over the Fishman Island. Just retreating like this, but also reluctant to leave. Besides, they expected it. The Whitebeard pirates have just been seriously injured. I definitely don't dare to be the enemy of their Big Mom pirates. Then, the 3 generals hit it off with Big Mom, and not only did they not retreat, they even increased the deployment of troops on the Fishman Island. In case for need. What? Upon hearing the news, Jinbei stood up from where he was. People from Big, Marco, Josie and others were also secretly angry. To know, the Fishman Island has an inextricable relationship with the Whitebeard pirates. Now they are targeting the Fishman Island. Wouldn't it be like standing on top of their Whitebeard pirates and running wild? They had just finished the Marineford battle. Are these guys just starting to stab people behind my back without any scruples? It's really yours. It's not just the Big Mom pirates. Beast's pirates also took action. Another White Regiment soldier guarding the border islands came to report. As one of the 3 major poster boards of the Beast's pirates, Jack the Drow has also begun to make moves near the waters under Whitebeard's jurisdiction. Listen to these 2 messages. The whole ship was furious. Beast's pirates and the Big Mom pirates. Do you just ignore them, the Whitebeard pirates? The people on the Moby Dick were not angry. That is impossible. We won the Summit War, but ended up with this situation. 4 emperors. What of 4 emperors? Fortunately, they still have some energy left. Whitebeard, who serves as the backbone, and all the squad leaders are here. If their father is killed in battle, the squad leaders will be killed and injured. It's not hard to guess. The Whitebeard pirates, who have been in the New World for so long, will probably be destroyed. The Whitebeard pirates did not fall in front of Marine. Instead, it will be swallowed up by the Beast's pirates and the Big Mom pirates. You guys really know how to choose your time. This matter must be resolved. They don't take our Whitebeard pirates seriously enough. Dad, let me deal with them. Marco stood up and said to Whitebeard. HMPH, these guys are really brave. Josie gritted his teeth and said angrily. If they are allowed to do whatever they want, where will the face of our Whitebeard pirates go from now on? Izang also agrees with Marco's view. Facing this situation, Whitebeard naturally knew that he had to be prepared. But today's situation, the Whitebeard pirates are indeed not optimistic. The top priority is not the time to take this breath. It has to be in the short term. Restoring your energy is the best option. He is now suffering from old illnesses and cannot produce much strength. After the Summit War, the captains have been working day and night without rest for the past few days. The body has also reached its limit. Moreover, who is the enemy? Whether it's the Beast's pirates or the Big Mom pirates. Those are the 4 emperors who are on par with their Whitebeard pirates. And there are still 2 of them. confronted them right after the Summit War. This is not a wise choice. However, just when Whitebeard decided to temporarily hold back and regain his strength, Lin Yan spoke up. We can't ignore this kind of thing, let me go. Forest? Looking at Lin Yan in front of him, Whitebeard raised his head slightly and asked, can your body bear it? Summit War. Lin Yan's performance is obvious to all. Only, what he endured at Marineford was too much. Even Whitebeard. They are not willing to let him start fighting again. Don't worry, I will take care of these two things. Lin Yan nodded and said it was nothing serious. He recovered from his injuries in Shoki's tavern for a long time. Now it can be considered that it is fully recovered. Compared to other division captains, he is much stronger. Not only that, because of winning the Summit War, his system, there were also sounds and movements. Ding. Congratulations to host for completing the hidden mission, winning the Summit War, and getting 365 bait. Yes. When Lin Yan was sleeping, the system has already released the rewards. 365 bait. This means that Lin Yan can fish for a whole year again. He was in a good mood, and even his injuries recovered faster. Listen to Lin Yan's words. Whitebeard thought for a moment. Finally he nodded. He was full of confidence in Lin Yan's strength. Be careful all the way. Just as Lin Yan was preparing to leave the Moby Dick. Captain, can I go with you? At this time, Ain spoke, and she spoke delicately towards Lin Yan. You going with me? Lin Yan turned around and looked at Ain in front of him. May I? Ain lowered her head slightly in embarrassment, but her eyes shone with anticipation. Okay. Lin Yan nodded. Being alone is a bit boring. Many people talked on the road, not bad. That's all. Lin Yan set sail with Ain. Mammoth Pirates. Jack the Drow looked at the island in front of him, which was the territory of the Whitebeard pirates. In his eyes, with waves of coldness, before Summit War. They, the Beast's pirates, definitely don't dare to be so blatant. But, after Summit War, nowadays, the Whitebeard pirates are already weak. Even if they win Summit War, even defeating the massive marine. But what does the retreating troops look like? The whole world has seen it. No action at this time. When will it be more? In the eyes of the Whitebeard pirates, they, the Beast's pirates, were taking advantage of the situation. But for them Beast's pirates, isn't this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to expand our territory? The location of the world's strongest pirate group. It's time to change people. You Whitebeard pirates. Why do you continue to occupy such a seat? Not kicking you out of 4 emperors. I have already given you enough face. Yes. The reason why Jack the Drow appears here this time. It was Kaido's instruction. Captain, we have arrived at the territory of the Whitebeard pirates. A member of the Mammoth Pirates said to Jack the Drow. Jack the Drow glanced at the islands in front of him, waved his hand and said, pull the ship over and occupy this island. Followed by his words, the Mammoth Pirates' ship immediately moved towards the island. However, just as the Mammoth Pirates were about to approach the island port, bad news happened, but seen on the deck of Kaido of the Beasts. Suddenly a giant Uzumaki appears, immediately afterwards. Among this Uzumaki, 2 people walked out of it. Jack the Drow, the Summit War has just ended. Are you Beasts pirates so anxious to occupy the territory of our Whitebeard pirates? But the man who came out of Uzumaki had a slight smile on his face, and he shouted to Jack the Drow. And the moment Jack the Drow saw the person coming, his pupils tightened. In his eyes, a flash of fear flashed through. Same day. Scenes from Wano Kuni resurfaced in his mind. It's you. Lin. Jack the Drow stared at Lin Yan, frowning, and shouted out these words almost one by one. It's a pleasure to meet you. I didn't expect that Jack, one of the 3 famous Beasts Pirates posters, would actually remember me. Why, now that we, the Whitebeard pirates, are here, do we want to have Wano Kuni's scene happen again? Lin Yan said lightly. Behind him, Ain, who came together, smiled softly. As always, this captain of his own still speaks like a sword. Speak only to pick on the sore spots. The ridicule was not sloppy at all. Listen to Lin Yan's words. Jack the Drow suddenly recalled the scene where he met Lin Yan in Wano Kuni. To be honest, if the person coming is another squad leader, Jack the Drow didn't take the other party seriously at all. After all, it's about identity. He is not inferior to Marco, Josie and others. Of course, it's just an identity, but the moment I saw Lin Yan, Jack the Drow suddenly fell into deep silence. Notice. As early as Wano Kuni, his mammoth pirates encountered his 17th Division on the sea. Just then. Lin of the 17th Division is just an unknown newly promoted captain. What about Lin today? Summit War single-handedly turned the tide and was able to hold off Marine's top brass. Now, Marine has offered a bounty of 2.5 billion. 25 billion. That's a reward close to that of an emperor-level powerhouse. What about yourself? 1 billion is an exaggeration. But compared to Lin, who is more than twice as big, even Jack the Drow had to be convinced, he was still a little lucky. At first. The scene where the two sides collided with Wano Kuni was also thanks to the action of his subordinate Green Bull. If he does it himself, what will happen to you? But there is no need to say more. Why are you silent? Aren't you beasts pirates eyeing our Whitebeard pirates? Lin Yan also put away his smile and glanced at the mammoth pirates in front of him. At the same time, the aura on him also spread out. The aura instantly filled the mammoth pirates. Everyone on the ship was shocked. They only felt that their bodies were a little heavier, and some even had beads of sweat on their foreheads. Feel the aura released by Lin Yan. Even Jack the Drow's face darkened. Finally. After a long silence, he also spoke. Retreat. The opponent is Lin Yan in front of him, let alone a mammoth pirates, even 10 more will be useless. It is not advisable to stay here for a long time. It's best to leave as early as possible. Withdraw. Withdraw? The people from Beast's Pirates were stunned, they didn't expect it. My own captain actually retreated so decisively. Even though Lin Yan is the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates Division who has a bounty of 2.5 billion and can turn the tide in Summit War by himself. Their captain shouldn't be so cowardly, when they want to come. Even if he is defeated, his own captain will still say harsh words. For example, if you wait for me, or something like that, I will come back sooner or later. This. They opened their mouths. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak for a long time. Only some people who knew the inside story. They were reminded of the fear of being dominated by a green bull in Wano Kuni, Jack the Drow. Green Bull killed their captain Jack with one punch, wasn't he strong enough? The results of it? He is just a subordinate of Lin in front of him. Never leave again. The entire mammoth pirates must be overthrown by the other party. Watching the mammoth pirates prepare to escape, Lin Yan was happy. How could the man who once shouted, "Pull the boat over," retreated without even saying hello? No, you. This is not manly enough. Just leave like that. Do you think I will just let you leave? We, the Whitebeard Pirates, are not a place where you, the Beast's Pirates, can come and go as you please. Lin Yan narrowed his eyes and said, when Jack the Drow shouted the word retreat. I have made a big decision in my heart, after all. He is also a face-saving person. But Lin Yan in front of him obviously couldn't do anything. He can't fight, but he wants to save face. What to do? Just when Jack the Drow was struggling with how to solve the situation at hand. Suddenly. The vice captain of the mammoth pirates stood up. He took a detour and asked Lin Yan in a different way. Captain, we were just passing by. You deliberately blocked our way and refused to let us leave. What do you mean? Upon hearing this, Jack the Drow's eyes lit up. He immediately gave his deputy captain a thumbs up. Wonderful. Wonderful. A good move is to turn against customers. Hey. Lin Yan was immediately happy. Did not think of. There are actually some sneaky people in the mammoth pirates. He thought. Everyone is as stupid as Jack the Drow. Actually, it's not their fault either. The pressure Lin Yan brought to them was too great. No one wants to be Lin Yan's enemy. I don't even want to confront him. As the saying goes. Dogs will jump over the wall when they are in a hurry. They are the ones who speak out of urgency. Since you ask me what I mean, I'll tell you what it means. Lin Yan shrugged, and then said slowly, that's what I mean. The words fell. Lin Yan's palm, thunder fruit release. He held a ball of thunder and lightning in his hand. The light from the thunder and lightning was imprinted on Lin Yan's face. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth raised slightly. This moment, he was like the god of thunder descending. The whole body was bathed in the majestic thunder and lightning. Watching Lin Yan behave like this, Jack the Drow gritted his teeth. He knows. The scene cannot be ended. Stop looking down on others. Jack the Drow shouted angrily. 2 sickles suddenly appeared in his hands. At the same time, his nose suddenly swelled up, and a thick layer of hardened skin appeared on his body. Mammoth fruit is on full fire. He directly entered the orc state mode. With the blessing of all power, Jack the Drow stepped on the deck and made a huge dent in the deck. His body is obviously very large, but after entering the orc state, he became extremely agile. The speed was so fast that the air was filled with bursts of sonic booms. In the blink of an eye, Jack the Drow came to Lin Yan. He raised the hooked sickle in his hand and slashed it towards his head. Then, Jack the Drow happily played GG. After he fell, the other crew members simply couldn't withstand Lin Yan's strength. Since then, Mammoth Pirates, completely annihilated. Bulu Bulu, aboard Moby Dick. The phone suddenly rang. Izo caught the phone bug. There is only one simple sentence in the phone bug. The situation with the Mammoth Pirates has been resolved. Send a group of people over to finish it off. The person who spoke was none other than Lin Yan. The moment I got the news, the entire Whitebeard Pirates were shocked. Solved? For Team Lin to defeat the Mammoth Pirates, everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates expected it, and they were not surprised. No matter how strong Jack the Drow is, no matter how high the reward is. But in front of their Lin team, a small witch meets a big witch. Not worth mentioning. The issue is, how long has Captain Lin been out? 5 minutes? 3 minutes? This was less than 3 to 5 minutes. The members of the Mammoth Pirates were wiped out by the group? And the phone call comes directly. He greeted them and asked them to go over and finish. Damn it. This speed, it's too scary. Don't you need time for sailing? Don't you need time to travel? Team Lin. Why are you so fast? Miss Ain is so pitiful. Let's go to the Fishman Island. With the Beast's pirate side settled, all that remains is the Big Mom pirate side of the Fishman Island. With Kamui here, arriving at the Fishman Island is easy. Ain was naturally surprised that Lin Yan was so fast. But in her eyes, disappointment takes up a little more. It's rare to go out with the captain. I still want to stay with him for a while. Result. Well, the beasts at the scene could hardly move. Lin Yan simply didn't wait for the Whitebeard Pirates to arrive. He decided to head to the Fishmen Island with Ain. The Fishmen Island. Located 10,000 meters under the sea in the Holy Land of Marie Joyce, it is one of the must-see routes in the New World. It is also the birthplace of most fishmen and merfolk. It is also known as the Undersea Paradise, and is a dreamlike paradise. After Uzumaki fell together, Lin Yan took Ain and successfully arrived at the Fishmen Island. So beautiful. Looking at the majestic the Fishmen Island in front of us, the coral reefs are in close contact with the seawater, and the waves are constantly hitting the coastline one after another. Ain covered his mouth with one hand. When she came to the Fishmen Island for the first time, she looked around in surprise, her eyes filled with blue eyes. Lin Yan knew that the Fishmen Island belonged to the Whitebeard Pirates. But it was also his first time arriving here. Even more so than Ain. He looked left and right like a country bumpkin entering a city. Especially when Lin Yan saw the mermaid really appear in front of him. His eyes started to shine. He was also a feast for the eyes. Look at the hot bodies of those mermaid ladies. What is covering your eyes? Good. It's the mermaid lady who is all in white. Team leader. What are you looking at? Ain saw Lin Yan's excited eyes. She looked at Lin Yan with resentful eyes. Well, you were wrong. I was just looking at the scenery of the Fishmen Island. Lin Yan quickly looked away and denied. Yeah? Captain. When did you become so bold and unwilling to act? I won't be angry. Ain glanced at him and muttered. Not going to be mad. Lin Yan smelled the smell of gunpowder in the air, like a resentful woman in a boudoir. Isn't this called angry? Ahem, no more, no more. I guarantee this with my reputation as captain of the 17th Division. Lin Yan said that he would never look at them again. Ain lowered his head in frustration and looked at his figure. Own. Obviously it's not much different. Why does the captain never look at me? Could it be? Captain, he likes those with hot and exposed bodies? She raised her hand. Clothes cover head to toe. Think about it this way. What I wore was indeed a bit conservative. If I had more clothes like this in my closet. What will it be like? Write down the matter of Vice Admiral in Ianshin. I will buy hundreds or even thousands of sets another day. Give him something different every day. Okay, we're here to do business. Lin Yan didn't bother too much in this aspect. He patted Ain on the shoulder and led her towards the Dragon Palace. The Big Mom Pirates are proud of themselves. During the Summit War, Their pirate group immediately dispatched men to the Fishmen Island. And by force. Threatening Dragon Palace to forge a dessert factory for them. Now the dessert factory has been completed. A huge building stands among the Fishmen Island. Candy soldiers were guarding the surrounding area. Of course, according to their original purpose. It is to take advantage of the bloody battle between the Whitebeard pirates and Marineford to capture the Fishmen Island as quickly as possible. However, same as Beast's pirates, the Big Mom pirates didn't even think of it. The Whitebeard pirates actually won this war. Got the Marine. For a while, everyone in the Big Mom pirates immediately froze. For them who have already occupied the Fishmen Island, everyone could only stare, neither forward nor backward. The key is, the candy factory has been forged. Is work starting? Or not to start work? If work starts. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Although they can gain benefits, this is no less than an admission that the Fishmen Island has become the territory of their Big Mom pirates. This will touch the bottom line of the Whitebeard pirates and Marine. But if we don't start work, why did they build this candy factory? For viewing? What to do? It's really a big head. The other side. Your Majesty the King, the Whitebeard pirates are here. A minister hurriedly ran through the corridor of the palace, and then quickly rushed to the Fishmen Island Dragon Palace King Neptune, and told the news. What did you say? The Whitebeard pirates are here. Hearing these words, as the King of Dragon Palace, Neptune said with joy in his eyes. Yes, King, and one thing you must know is that the person coming is the captain of the 17th Division. The minister shouted even more excitedly than Neptune. Until now, Summit War has spread throughout the world. Just ask. Who doesn't know the captain of the 17th Division who became famous in one battle? Captain of Division 17. Neptune stood up directly from where he was. To know. The fact that the Whitebeard pirates can come is a blessing for the Dragon Palace. After all, the current Whitebeard pirates. It can be described as a clay bodhisattva crossing the river. Just past Summit War. Almost all of them are now in a state of recuperation. Please come quickly. Neptune arranged her makeup. Then he quickly asked the minister to invite Lin Yan in. No, at this time. Neptune shook his head and said solemnly, I will go there myself. Finished. Neptune directly took the manpower. He personally greeted Lin Yan at the door. After all, the Fishmen Island has maintained a friendly relationship with the Whitebeard pirates for decades. Neptune personally came to greet him with many ministers. Lin Yan naturally didn't care too much. With a spring-like smile on his face, he responded to each one of them very delicately. Seeing how elegant and easygoing Lin Yan is, Neptune and others' eyes lit up. I really didn't expect that this member of the 17th Division was just strong, but had such a gentle personality. They welcomed him even more enthusiastically. During this period, Neptune is also the case with the Fishmen Island. Narrate it to Lin Yan. Turn out to be, not only Big Mom is eyeing it. Even Marine has dispatched a lot of manpower. Arrive at the Fishmen Island. Trying to occupy the big cake of the Fishmen Island. The people from Marine are here too. Lin Yan touched his chin, raised his head and whispered. No wonder the people in the Big Mom pirate group are so fiery. After all, someone is competing with them for territory. Captain, although I am very grateful to you for coming to help us on the Fishmen Island, the Whitebeard pirates are in a bad state right now. The enemy is Marine and the Big Mom pirates again. Starting a war rashly may be detrimental to you. We in Ryugu can still hold on. How about this? How about you wait until you are almost recovered and then help us eliminate these evil gangs? The Whitebeard pirates have been protecting Ryugu for many years. In such a critical situation, Neptune is not willing to drag the Whitebeard pirates into the water. Moreover, the other party just came here with the idea of the Fishmen Island territory. It's not about destroying the Fishmen Island. They can still hold on. It's not too late to help the Whitebeard pirates after they recover. Don't worry, our Whitebeard pirates are fine. Leave this matter to me. Lin Yan came here just for this matter. Put it off. It's not his temperament. After understanding everything about the situation, Lin Yan twisted his neck. It's time to take action. He immediately arrived at the temporary base where Marine was stationed. Standing high in the sky, Lin Yan overlooks the Marine stronghold. All Marine soldiers are constantly patrolling around the stronghold. They hold heavy weapons and are ready. In the center of the stronghold, there is the iconic seagull flag flying in the air. Who? Marines guards immediately noticed the stranger appearing at their gate. A group of soldiers immediately revealed their weapons, and they were ready to attack Lin Yan. Pity. This group of people is in front of Lin Yan. I couldn't hold on to a face-to-face meeting at all. Throw out 1,000,000 volts at random. The Marine in front of him suddenly fell to the ground in pieces. Clang. Lin Yan kicked open the door of the stronghold headquarters. Inside the gate, it is guarded by a Marine Vice Admiral. Dare you break into our the Fishmen Island Marine base? I see you don't take me seriously at all. The Vice Admiral, codenamed Ghost Spider, became furious when he saw a stranger breaking into the Fishmen Island Marine base. He immediately picked up the weapon and threw it at Lin Yan. Boom. Lin Yan raised his hand and intercepted his attack easily. What do you? Ghost Spider Vice Admiral was originally planning to question the guy in front of him who broke into the Marine base without permission. At this moment, the sunlight from outside also came in through the gap in the windowsill and sprinkled on Lin Yan's face. This second, the Ghost Spider Vice Admiral, who was still full of momentum just now, suddenly stopped. His pupils tightened. He looked at the man in front of him as if he had seen a ghost. It's you. Summit War. The Ghost Spider Vice Admiral also participated in the battle. Didn't he remember vividly the guy who single-handedly overthrew Marine? The moment I saw Lin Yan, the Ghost Spider was like taking a picture of a bride's veil, and it turned out that the person sitting inside was Sister Feng, and his whole body suddenly withered. The previous domineering arrogance was gone. Is this the arrogance of Marine Vice Admiral? It's quite strong. Lin Yan said calmly. Why did you appear on the Fishmen Island? Vice Admiral, the Ghost Spider, suppressed the fear in his heart and asked. At this moment, he also noticed. All the Marine soldiers in the entire stronghold have been knocked down by him. I have to ask you about this. The Fishmen Island is the territory of our Whitebeard pirates. You Marine and Big Mom pirates took advantage of the crisis to occupy the Magpie's nest. Why did you appear on the Fishmen Island? Lin Yan changed from being calm before to being indifferent now, he said coldly. Vice Admiral was silent. He couldn't answer. Their original purpose of Marine. Just to occupy the treasure land of the Fishmen Island. Unexpectedly, the Big Mom pirates also came here. The two major forces are fighting each other on the island. Can't you answer it? It seems you Marines still know that you are occupying other people's territory. Lin Yan's eyes became even colder. Until now. There is nothing left to say. Less than 3 seconds. The Ghost Spider, who was the Marine Vice Admiral, fell to the ground. Lin Yan clapped his hands. He walked towards the other side, in the direction of the candy factory. About 10 minutes later, a pink candy factory appeared in front of Lin Yan. Same as Marine base. The candy factory is also surrounded by candy soldiers. But this cannot stop Lin Yan at all. About an hour later, all the soldiers in the candy factory were wiped out by him. And guarding this candy factory, it is Big Mom's eldest son, Charlotte Perisparrow. Same as Ghost Spider. After seeing Lin Yan breaking in all the way, Perisparrow was stunned. Captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, what are you doing here? Perisparrow raised the candy scepter in his hand and pointed at Lin Yan in front of him and asked. Why is this a problem again? Lin Yan frowned, with deep helplessness in his eyes. Just ask. He asked. Is it over yet? Next. In Perisparrow's horrified eyes, without saying a word, he overturned the candy factory. After doing it, Lin Yan continues to contact the Whitebeard pirates. The matter on the Fishmen Island has been taken care of. This time we need to bring more people over. In addition to the Big Mom pirates, there is also Marine's mess that needs to be cleaned up. After finishing the matter of the Fishmen Island, Lin Yan also took aim back to the Whitebeard pirates Moby Dick. By the way, I did some statistics. There are more than 500 people in the Mammoth Pirates, more than 500 people in the Big Mom Pirates, and more than 500 people in Marine. A total of more than 1,500 people. How to deal with these more than 1,500 people? Whitebeard called the meeting himself. At the meeting, opinions vary. These people are all people with evil intentions. Logically speaking, sending them to prison is the most appropriate option. The other squad leaders heard this. They all think this is true. Dare to make plans for their Whitebeard pirates' territory. They really should be taught a lesson. However, a question was placed before them. The Whitebeard pirates. There are not enough prisons anymore. Is it possible? In order to deploy these more than 1,500 people, and build a prison specifically for them. How can this be? Non-existent. You have to tighten your belt. Make a F***king prison. Lin Yan now thought of a way. I do have an idea. Now is the time when the Whitebeard pirates are short of money, so he sets his sights on the Beasts pirates, Big Mom pirates, and Marine, a group of prisoners. Although this group of people does not have much use value. But the background forces behind him, those are all delicious cakes. What's the idea? Everyone looked sideways. Blackmail. Lin Yan snapped his fingers and said with a twinkle in his eye. Needless to say, Jack the Drow is the mainstay of Beasts pirates. Ghost Spider is a vice admiral after all, and there is no way Marine will give up on him. Parasparrow is Big Mom's eldest son. Will Big Mom not come to rescue him? Many division captains looked at each other. Think of the current situation of the Whitebeard pirates. This is indeed a good method without compromise. Goo la 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 la. That's a good idea. Whitebeard also nodded repeatedly. Lin, how much do you think it's appropriate for them to pay? Marco turned around and asked. 3 billion. Lin Yan has already thought about it. 3 billion is not too low and can alleviate the financial pressure on the Whitebeard pirates to the greatest extent. At the same time, 3 billion is not too high. Jack the Drow already accounts for 1/3 of the entire Mammoth pirates. The others add up and ask for the remaining amount. It's very reasonable, and the most important thing is, all three of their major forces can afford such an amount. It won't make them anxious. Just do it. Same day. The Whitebeard pirates announced. Jack the Drow of the Mammoth pirates, Parasparrow of the Big Mom pirates, and Vice Admiral, the Ghost Spider of Marine, have all fallen into their hands. If you want to redeem someone, in exchange for 3 billion Baileys. As soon as the news came out, the world was shocked. No one thought that the Summit War had just passed. The Whitebeard pirates began to take action. If you don't sing, you will be a blockbuster. With the power of thunder, the attack was aimed at 3 major forces. Don't you all want to rest and recuperate? Don't you all want to regain your strength? Aren't you afraid of retaliation from the 3 major forces? Turtle. Everyone really drank a pot. A large number of newspapers began to rush to report on it. Seagulls carry this message to the world. Some hard-working guys. They even took a boat directly to the Whitebeard pirates to understand the situation for themselves. Take pictures and collect materials to pave the way for the first-time information for newspapers. 3 billion. What a big statement. After hearing the news, Kaido became furious and slapped the table, leaving a handprint on the table. And he stood up directly on the spot, his forehead covered with veins. Looks appalling. Do the Whitebeard pirates want to start a war? He dares to capture our people. Next to Kaido, Huang Fujin, one of the 3 major billboards, also said with a gloomy face. Same. The Big Mom pirates also caused an uproar. Mom is sleeping now, how should we deal with this matter? Among the 3 generals, Katakuri tapped the table with one hand and looked at the people below and asked. It's 3 billion when you open your mouth. I think we need to teach Marine a lesson. Charlotte Smoothie, another one of the 3 generals, said with anger in her eyes. 3 billion? Have the Whitebeard pirates fallen into the eyes of money? Thankfully they can speak out. Cracker was also angry. Marine sighed. The moment Sengoku heard the news, he closed his eyes and said nothing. The Whitebeard pirates now want to recuperate. Why don't they Marine? Sengoku, what do you think about this matter? Staff officer, he raised his head and looked at Sengoku calmly. 3 billion Baileys, this is not a small amount. We made the wrong move on the Fishmen Island. Garp also sighed on the side. I think you can take a look. After all, the Whitebeard pirates may not really want to go to war. Aokiji gave advice from the side. Then let's take a look again. Sengoku didn't want to hand over so much money for no reason. The day after the news was released, the 3 major forces also began to respond. Warning about the threat posed by Beasts pirates and Big Mom pirates. Don't be too arrogant. Whitebeard pirates. In their view, the Whitebeard pirates are at the end of their tether. They want the 2 major forces to join forces and really start a fight. Overthrow your little Whitebeard pirates, isn't it a sure thing? Marine, on the other hand, made no movement. Sit on the side and watch the tiger fight. Nothing's happening. Lin Yan didn't take it seriously. He had expected such a scene. I want to suck blood from these guys. You still have to spend a fortune. Then, Lin Yan released news again. If he were the first one to come and take away the prisoners, it would only cost 1.5 billion. The second one requires 2 billion, the third. Haha, without any discount, the 3 billion should be 3 billion. The news quickly reached the ears of the three major forces. As soon as he heard that he could take away his own people for only 1.5 billion belly. The Beasts pirates and Big Mom pirates, who had previously wanted to warn the Whitebeard pirates, fell silent. Even Marine's heart fluttered for a moment. If they want to get ahead of other forces, be the first to fish out their people. This is enough to save the remaining 1.5 billion Baileys. 1.5 billion Baileys. Don't you have to make a lot of money? The three major forces suddenly began to make moves. Or just spend 1.5 billion belly to bring them out? No, you can't be trapped. This is the Whitebeard pirates' plan, just waiting for us to be fooled. On the Beasts pirates' side, although everyone is ready to make a move, they do it for the sake of face. They were sure that this was the Whitebeard pirates' plan, and everyone was waiting to see their joke. They gritted their teeth. No matter what, I don't want to fall for it. Is there no movement over there at Beasts pirates? Then let's take a look too. After the Big Mom pirates saw that there was no movement from the Beasts pirates, they also decided to wait and see. After all, even 1.5 billion is a huge expense, not to mention, as long as the Whitebeard pirates are willing to lower it once, then you will definitely be willing to lower it a second time. The second time as long as the opponent is lowering. Then they will use the smallest amount. Get your people back from the other side's territory. The Beasts pirates and Big Mom pirates at this moment are because of the price Lin Yan offered them. Each one is calculating carefully and thinking about his next price reduction. Even the initial resistance has been forgotten. Even the Big Mom pirates took the initiative to contact the Beasts pirates. As long as they stay still, the Whitebeard pirates really don't dare to do anything to their people. They are 2-4 emperors. What about the Whitebeard pirates? It's just a group of people who are just hanging on. Once the two sides fight, the advantage is mine. The two sides immediately formed a covenant. If the enemy does not move, I will not move. If you really dare to attack their people, just wait for the fury of Beasts pirates and Big Mom pirates. However, just when the two major forces were waiting for good news and waiting for the Whitebeard pirates to lower their prices, Marine took the lead. As one of the three admirals, Aokiji drove the warship directly to the waters of the Whitebeard pirates. Spend 1.5 billion belly. Fished out their marines from the Whitebeard pirates. Aokiji glanced at Lin Yan, and then said coldly, "This is the money you want." Lin Yan sighed. After the subordinates finished counting the things, they reported, "Team Lin, there is no problem." Lin Yan nodded. He looked at Aokiji in front of him with a smile and said, "Admiral, happy cooperation." Snort. Aokiji turned his head indifferently. Immediately left here with Ghost Spider and 500 marine soldiers. Marine spent 1.5 billion to steal their people? Learned about this. The Beasts pirates and the Big Mom pirates couldn't sit still. You marines are too ungrateful. To take action is to disrupt the market. Don't you want to wait for their second Whitebeard price reduction? Pity. The wood has become a boat. Marine has taken the first best price position. Leftover. Only the two of them came to fight for it. How about we wait a little longer? The people at Beasts pirates still don't want to spend so much money. What an international joke. It's always them who steal other people's money. Things are changing today. It was their turn to be stabbed? The hateful Whitebeard pirates, but when they hesitate, the Big Mom pirates don't want to miss this opportunity. One is 2 billion Baileys, and the other is 3 billion Baileys. They still have a good idea. The moment Aokiji snatched away their marine, the members of the Big Mom pirate group also quickly betrayed the Beasts pirates. Covenant? What a fart covenant. This is just a verbal covenant. And the most important thing is, let alone a verbal covenant, you can even write it down in black and white, or even have it stamped with a seal. In the face of absolute interests, who cares about this? The Big Mom pirates spent the next 2 billion Baileys to get their own people out of the Whitebeard pirates. Captain Lin, no problem. After the inventory of subordinates was completed, they reported to Lin Yanhui. Happy cooperation, Katakori. Lin Yan smiled towards Katakori and said. Katakori didn't say anything more, he just glanced at Lin Yan a few more times. Then he took the Big Mom pirates with him, left here. This time, the people from Beasts pirates became anxious on the spot. Maid. Are you guys playing me? What about waiting a moment? What about the promised covenant? What about the agreed upon common enemy? What about the agreed upon front? Why are one or two of them so anxious? Beast's pirates looked at Lin Yan's 3 billion ships. They almost cried out loud. The city is full of routines, I want to go back to the countryside. I play Nima. After all, Beast's pirates took it all. But they still don't want to spend this money. Or, wait a moment? Is it possible that the Whitebeard pirates really dare to attack Jack the Drow? It looked like only the Beast's pirates were left in the end. And look at the posture of Beast's pirates. Don't want to pay yet. What a pity. This is not difficult for Lin Yan. You don't want to pay, do you? You want to default on your debt, right? That works. Lin Yan directly ordered his subordinates to put everyone in Beast's pirates into sea stone shackles. Let them rebuild the Whitebeard pirates. Whether it's building a fleet of ships or rebuilding basic buildings. As long as they can do the dirty work, leave it to them. Lin Yan even greeted the prison guards and warden. Smoke as much as you want. Slave as much as you want. The guards and the warden were hearing the news. Their eyes sparkled. That's Jack the Drow. A bounty of 1 billion was offered by Marine. One of the 3 major boards of Beast's pirates. Now it's just a matter of becoming his prisoner, and he can even be whipped at will. Oh my god. Exciting. Suddenly, they took action one after another. While ordering this group of mammoth pirates to work. While they were being tortured, even some brave ones. They all rode directly on them. Order them to crawl forward on the ground. Same day. The prison guards and wardens immediately enjoyed the treatment of celestial dragons. This taste. So cool, to know. Around the Whitebeard pirates. But there were many members of the reporting agency who came to collect information on the spot. They filmed the scene and published it in the newspaper. The key is, as a member of the reporting agency, almost everyone has learned the essence of UC Shock Department. Shock. The mammoth pirates were treated like this by the Whitebeard pirates, and the reason behind it turned out to be. Such newspapers were sent around the world. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Grand line. Once again, boundless waves were set off. Is this the mammoth pirates? How miserable they are. The Whitebeard pirates still have great personalities. Look, this group of mammoth pirates are covered in blue marks, as if they were drawn by whips. Holy shit. What does this mean? A warden is riding on top of Jack the Drow, and Jack the Drow is actually crawling forward on the ground? Isn't this a treatment that only people like Marie Joyce get? The Whitebeard pirates are really brave. After people on the sea saw such reports, their eyes suddenly widened. My heart couldn't calm down for a long time. After Marine and the Big Mom pirates saw such newspapers, they were even more grateful. Fortunately, they spent money to eliminate the disaster, and they took the lead in fishing out the people. If not, this is probably the result. The thought of his own people being run wild with a group of jailers riding on top of their heads. Not to mention how uncomfortable they were. As for Beast's pirates. Now he has become the laughing stock of people all over the world. When I got the news, the Big Mom pirates and Marines breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they took the lead. This forest. He really dares to take action. Indeed. Anyone with a discerning eye can see it. The Whitebeard pirates really wouldn't dare to use a knife on their people. But don't use the knife. But there are countless ways. Make them obey. This pain of flesh and blood is one of them. Let's talk about Beast's pirates. Hear the news. Kaido in Onigashima was angry. Kaido has many bad qualities. But one thing is the same as most people, to his men. Especially the 3 major billboards, Fei Liubao and others are famously kind. After all, I have followed him for many years. The characters who have worked together in Beast's pirates until now. But one by one they were trampled under the feet of the Whitebeard pirates. The key is, those evil media outlets seem to have seized on the commercial source. Crazy to report this to the whole world. This is just great. The whole world knows that the Whitebeard pirates are running wild on top of their Beast's pirates. Kaido was so angry that his internal organs were vomiting blood. It's too much. Whitebeard pirates, do you know what you are doing? You like to be in a cocoon, don't you? Kaido-sama, let's declare war on the Whitebeard pirates. How dare they enslave Lord Drought? I simply don't want to live anymore. Fei Liubao and the other 2 major billboards also expressed their opinions. They now want to drag their 40-meter-long swords and fly to the territory of the Whitebeard pirates. Wash them with blood from top to bottom. Listen to everyone's words. After all, Kaido was not carried away by his anger. The Whitebeard pirates have just gone through the Summit War. It can be said that his vitality was severely damaged. We are working hard to restore the strength of 4 emperors. The issue is, although most of the crew were damaged, but the mainstay of the Whitebeard pirates is still alive. Whitebeard, squad captain and others, and Lin, the captain of Division 17. As well as the few strong men under him who are comparable to the admiral level. For example, Yi Shao, Green Bull, the former Marine Admiral Zephyr, etc. The fighting power of this group of people, it cannot be ignored. Once the fight starts, he might be able to suppress the seriously injured Whitebeard. Kei Jin, Quinn, Fei Liubao, etc. I'm afraid he may not be the opponent of the 17th Division. Now is not the time to start a war. Quinn, let's negotiate with the Whitebeard pirates. Use the minimum price to exchange Jack back. Now is the time when the Whitebeard pirates need money. If the transaction is reasonable, you will make the decision on this matter. Kaido said while rubbing his sore forehead with one hand. Troubles troubled him. Even the drink in his hand had no taste. One of the 6 flying cells on the side, Black Maria, saw this scene. He quickly stretched out his thin hands, gently pressed on Kaido's forehead, and relieved his fatigue. When other people heard this, they were immediately puzzled. The Whitebeard pirates are already struggling to survive. What's there to fear? They don't understand their own captain. Why would you choose to negotiate at such a juncture? Obviously the other party. They are all on horseback and start to face output. But Kaido is Kaido after all. He is the absolute backbone of Beast's pirates. Everyone had no choice but to agree. Quinn said, leave it to me. Because of the conflict between the Beast's pirates and the Whitebeard pirates, the eyes of the world, almost all fell on the 2 major forces. However, it never occurred to them, when the Whitebeard pirates ravaged Jack the Drow like this. Kaido's reaction, it's really jaw-dropping. Quinn, leading the negotiation team to the waters of the Whitebeard pirates. Etc. Negotiating team? Is there any mistake? Why a negotiating team? Shouldn't the army be pressing forward to put pressure on the Whitebeard pirates? The Whitebeard pirates have been completely restored. Beast's pirates still dare not take action? So cowardly? Just like Fei Liubao and others. Most people on the Grand Line saw this scene. They are also extremely puzzling. I don't know how serious it is. Only a few people heard the news. There was a hint of surprise in their eyes. This Kaido. You've learned a lesson. Knowing the curve will save the country. Notice. Although the Whitebeard pirates reached a critical moment during the Summit War, their lives were hanging by a thread. But their new squad leader Lin became famous in the Summit War. Except for him, there are also Yi Shao, Green Bull, Zephyr and so on. There are so many combat prowess comparable to the admiral level. How to fight Beast's pirates? How to fight? Beast's pirates is certainly strong. It's a pity that the main force of the Whitebeard pirates is still there. After all, it's still a little bit worse, if you go all out. The Whitebeard pirates can try their best. Beast's pirates don't want to waste it. Who would sacrifice the combat power of the entire 4 emperors because of the Whitebeard pirates who have stepped down from the altar? Maybe Whitebeard will hit him hard. What should I do if I drag them into the water? A few days later, Quinn came with a negotiating team. What they mean is simple. I don't want to spend that much money. After all, there are lessons learned from Marine and the Big Mom pirates. One is 1.5 billion and the other is 2 billion. Why did you get to them? Just 3 billion. Hear this. Lin Yan immediately laughed. I gave you a chance, but unfortunately, you didn't seem to seize it. Upon hearing this, Quinn was suddenly speechless. Indeed. They still want to wait. Then wait and wait. Something happened. Who knew Marine and Big Mom were so unruly? But Quinn knew. His purpose is to negotiate. Negotiation? Lin Yan simply didn't bother to talk. Let Vice Captain Zephyr come forward, in this case. Zephyr is readily available to those who are used to it. Dealing with Quinn in front of him, at last. Looking at the 17th Division team in front of them, Quinn could only offer the 3 billion Baileys with tears in his eyes. The money is already in place. It was naturally impossible for Lin Yan not to let him go. But next, when Quinn saw Jack appearing in front of him covered with whip scars, Quinn's eyes widened. Open your mouth as wide as possible. My jaw dropped to the floor. Why? Why did my OU doo-doo look like this? Lin, you'd better give me an explanation. Quinn pointed at Lin Yan and yelled angrily. Stab, stab, stab. The words just fell. Countless barbs suddenly popped out of the ground beneath his feet. The barbs penetrated directly into the bodies of some members of the mammoth pirates. Suddenly, most of the mammoth pirates were sucked dry directly. The green bull stepped out from behind Zephyr. He glanced at Quinn, who was about to cause trouble. I'll give you 10 minutes. If you don't leave here, you'll have to bear the consequences. Quinn realized that this was not a place to stay for long. Maybe they will be left here too. He glared hard at Zephyr, Green Bull, and the smiling Lin next to him, who was counting 3 billion Baileys. He quickly left the territory of the Whitebeard pirates with the Mammoth group and Jack. So, this happened. After the Beast's pirates paid the ransom and left with the Mammoth group, the ups and downs in recent times finally came to an end. The result is naturally a complete victory for the Whitebeard pirates. After this incident, the Whitebeard pirate's status as the Emperor of the Sea will be unshakable. After all, even the 2 members of the 4 emperors and Marine had suffered a big loss. Who would dare to make the Whitebeard pirates unhappy in the future? Then you have to measure whether your head is strong enough. Then of course, the news about the subsequent handling of this matter flew out of Mermaid Island and spread all over the world as if it had wings. Within 2 or 3 days, the whole world knew about it. Those who had been paying close attention to this matter in recent times naturally bought the newspaper immediately and read it with great interest. Taverns and newspaper offices around the world were filled with exclamations one after another. I'm super. 3 billion. Did you really give it? Are Beast's pirates so cowardly? Bullshit. What can I do if I don't coward? The captain of the 17th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates is already recognized as a super strong man, let alone people like Green Bull. The Beast's pirates are going to beat him? The sky is going to change. The whole world was shocked. Although after knowing that Beast's pirates sent a negotiation team, many people were more or less mentally prepared for this matter. But after seeing Jen gave 3 billion, these people were still so shocked that their eyes almost dropped. Beast's pirates has literally lost an adult in front of the whole world. But everyone was also deeply aware of one thing. The new world is really going to take off. And at the same time, on the other side, knowing that the Fishmen Island king at this time, Neptune, personally extended an invitation to Lin Yan. Invite him to a banquet in the Dragon Palace. After all, Neptune naturally wants to make friends with such a strong man. Lin Yan was attending the celebration party of the Fishmen Island with a helpless expression. This is a matter of course. For the Fishmen Island, they have always been the territory of the Whitebeard pirates. On weekdays, I often receive favors from everyone in the Whitebeard pirates. Not an exaggeration. The Fishmen Island is as peaceful and prosperous as it is today. They all rely on the Whitebeard pirates. It can be said that there is both prosperity and loss. At this time, driving away the 3 parties that coveted the Fishmen Island was no less significant than protecting one's own homeland, not to mention taking out a huge amount of money. Today is such a happy day. Drink. Give me all to drink. Neptune also lost his gloomy look in recent days, with a cheerful smile on his face, and drank with everyone. Watch this scene. Lin Yan was a bit dumbfounded. But since you were so enthusiastic, if refused, isn't it true that we have failed others' good intentions in vain? And in his words, who doesn't want to have sex for free? Are you right? Captain, let's have a drink. Ain specially dressed up today, wearing a dark blue evening dress. At this moment, he was holding a wine glass and smiling brightly at Lin Yan. He looked in a good mood. You must know that this outfit of hers was specially chosen. Someone's eyes kept looking at the mermaid lady. Seeing the flash of surprise deep in Lin Yan's eyes after seeing him, Ain suddenly became even more happy. With that, the smile on her pretty face became a little sweeter. You know, women are very vindictive. She dressed up specially to show off in front of Lin Yan today, and now it seems that the effect is obviously good. Ain raised his glass and smiled at Lin Yan. Aren't you going to celebrate with everyone? Just spare me. Lin Yan was helpless. He shrugged and said. We just finished the summit war, and I'm exhausted. I'm not used to this kind of situation at all, and we have to go back tomorrow. 2. Hearing what Lin Yan said, the smile on Ain's pretty face faded a bit. The Fishmen Island matter has been resolved. After this incident, few people should dare to come here to cause trouble. Considering the current situation of the Whitebeard pirates, it is time to go back. But before that, Ain tilted his head and turned around in front of Lin Yan very deliberately. Then he didn't say anything and just stared at Lin Yan. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Lin Yan glanced at her, and at the same time looked at Ain, who had expectant eyes, with a puzzled expression. What do you think is different about me today? Ain narrowed his eyes and glared at him, reminding him angrily. Different? What's different? Lin Yan scratched his head and wondered whether Ain had a wrong tendon with a puzzled look on his face. Snort. However, Ain was obviously not satisfied. You know, she struggled for a long time before choosing this dress, but it turned out to be okay for you? Will you die if someone praises me? The smile on her pretty face disappeared instantly. Ain stamped his feet angrily on the spot, then snorted and turned away. I didn't even bother to look at him. Lin Yan stood there with a strange look on his face, looking at Ain's back as he left angrily. Just as he was sighing that he was truly a woman's heartthrob, he suddenly felt someone tap him on his shoulder. Zephyr patted Lin Yan on the shoulder, shook his head and sighed. You really don't understand women's hearts at all. Lin Yan. After spending a pretty good night at the Fishmen Island, everyone got ready the next day. After saying goodbye to everyone at the Fishmen Island, they set off to return to the Whitebeard Pirates. It is worth mentioning that it seems that he is still worried about what happened yesterday. Throughout the whole day, Ain didn't have a good look towards Lin Yan. Not only are there no usual greetings, after seeing Lin Yan, he either snorted coldly, or turned around and left with a fierce glare. Lin Yan was also helpless about this. Of course, he will definitely not care about this trivial matter. Fortunately, it was calm along the way. The trip went smoothly, and without much effort, everyone returned to the territory of the Whitebeard Pirates, and the Moby Dick also appeared in front of them. It's Captain Lin who's back. From a distance, there were members of the Whitebeard Pirates waving enthusiastically towards them. Today, Lin Yan has become the hero of the entire Whitebeard Pirates. If he hadn't come out of nowhere to turn the tide. Not to mention establishing his status as the Emperor of the Sea now. I don't know if Summit War will come back. Since he is a hero, it is natural to be treated like this, right? In this regard, Lin Yan expressed that his mood is stable. With a Gujing Wubo expression on his face, Lin Yan just nodded casually in response, and then planned to take everyone back first. However, the next second, Lin Yan's expression became a little surprised. The reason is also very simple. Captain Lin, Dad is awake. He has been clamoring to see you recently. Are you awake? Let's go over and take a look. A hint of madness appeared on Lin Yan's face, and then he answered towards the visitor. Captain Lin, follow me. Seeing Lin Yan's surprised expression, the man didn't waste any time and immediately started leading the way. Not long after, Lin Yan was brought to Whitebeard's bedroom. I'm back, just come back. Goo la 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 la. Probably because he had received the news a long time ago, Whitebeard seemed to be in a good mood. Seeing Lin Yan appear in front of him intact, he burst into hearty laughter. Whitebeard hasn't been this happy in a long time. Ever since he became old and frail, the days of the Whitebeard Pirates were getting worse day by day. This is also a generational change. When the old king weakens, he will inevitably be replaced by a new one. Time is also destiny, don't disobey. Even though Whitebeard was unwilling to do so, he was helpless. After all, he is no longer young. The only thing he couldn't worry about was his family. He was worried that after his death, the Whitebeard Pirates would suffer disaster. The new world is peaceful on the surface, but everyone who is qualified to enter here is a hero among people. Those are all jackals. Whitebeard is powerless. In fact, few people know that when he went to Summit War this time, he actually went with the consciousness of death. Even though he keeps saying that man can conquer nature. But Whitebeard himself knew that his chances of victory were slim. But he must go. No regrets even if I die. Then Lin Yan showed up. This man, who was like a miracle, just appeared out of nowhere, helped the building to collapse, turned the tide before it fell, and single-handedly defeated Marine's plan that he had been planning for an unknown amount of time. Not only did he save himself from death, it even brought the entire Whitebeard Pirates to life. Gu la 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 la. I'm happy today. Someone is coming. Let's have a party. With a hearty smile, Whitebeard felt more and more delighted as he looked at Lin Yan in front of him. In the end, he couldn't help laughing out loud. Whitebeard is extremely happy that Lin Yan has joined the Whitebeard Pirates. It can be said that without him, the Whitebeard Pirates would not be what they are today. Actually, you can take your time with the banquet. It's better to take good care of your health first. Seeing Whitebeard's cheerful look, Lin Yan couldn't help but laugh, but the expression on his face was unexpectedly calm. How was your situation during my absence? Lin Yan asked. Honestly, not good. After hearing this, Whitebeard slowly put away the smile on his face, and a trace of heaviness flashed between his eyebrows. Although important members have not been lost, we have also lost nearly half of our manpower. Those prisoners have recently joined us, and they will not be put to use in a short while. Whitebeard had a look of helplessness on his face. Although Summit War was a brilliant victory, it also left many problems. The most terrible thing is the shortage of manpower. The loss of nearly half of the members made it impossible for the Whitebeard pirates to carry out many of their daily affairs and could only maintain the most basic operations. It can be said that it is stretched in a literal sense. FY number 8L equals although Lin Yan brought a lot of prisoners to join in to alleviate the problem, Whitebeard did not intend to use it immediately. That's right, Whitebeard plans to observe it before talking. The Whitebeard pirates don't accept people with impure thoughts. Blackbeard teaches betrayal has sounded the alarm to Whitebeard. Just imagine, if Lin Yan hadn't been here this time, the Whitebeard pirates would really have suffered a disaster. Don't say it's yourself. It's hard to say how much the squad leaders will be able to come back alive. Whitebeard also had to be more cautious than before. I see, it's pretty much what I expected. After listening to Whitebeard's explanation, Lin Yan nodded silently. On the surface, it seems that the Whitebeard pirates are now in full swing, but the actual situation is that they are strong on the outside but weak on the inside. The only solution. Now we need time. Seeing Lin Yan's thoughtful look, Whitebeard spoke in a deep voice. For the Whitebeard pirates, the most important thing now is adoption, which means delaying as much time as possible. By the time the squad captains had finished their training, the prisoners brought by Lin Yan had also gathered together. The Whitebeard pirates at that time, he is the well-deserved emperor of the sea. With enough manpower, he is not dead yet, and Lin Yan is in front of him. Whitebeard has no doubt of this, but the problem is, do some people really give themselves time? The atmosphere seemed a bit silent for a moment. Lin Yan sat in front of Whitebeard, tapping his slender fingers on the table regularly, pondering for a moment, and then suddenly raised his head and spoke. Maybe we can also. Lin, you're back. However, Lin Yan had just opened his mouth, and before he finished speaking, he saw a large group of people rushing in with cheers. Marco, Josie, the captains of each division, and the Smile that he had gathered during this period, Green Bull and others. Almost all the top leaders of the entire Whitebeard pirates are here. Sure, Lin. I will obey you even if I don't accept anyone else. You are so damn courageous. How dare you even take advantage of this kind of blackmail? Marco was the first to smile and pat Lin Yan on the shoulder. The gloating smile on his face almost overflowed. It can be said to be audacious, during the period when Lin Yan left. Not to mention the melon-eating masses, even these people feel agitated when they read the daily newspapers. In the end, he really succeeded, especially Beast's pirates. That's a huge sum of 3 billion. Kaido is probably going to smash the table, right? So TNND comfortable. Just thinking about Kaido looking furious, everyone couldn't help but smile with gloating on their faces. Kaido, the madman, always made trouble for them. Did you get retribution now? Let me tell you, Lin is probably the most courageous among us. He even dares to do such a thing. Chao Zi said angrily, and then slowly gave Lin Yan a thumbs up. He is really convinced. Everyone nodded, and for a moment, the air was filled with a happy atmosphere. Okay, don't make trouble with me. If you want to discuss it, you can discuss it in private. Finally, Whitebeard raised his hand and stopped the commotion in front of him. The most important thing next is to recover as soon as possible. You are all the people I trust the most. You have been working so hard in the recent period. No problem, Dad. I will handle it. The captains of the division nodded confidently. Whitebeard's face showed a hint of relief, and then he turned to look at Lin Yan. Everyone also turned to look at Lin Yan. Now Lin Yan is almost half of the backbone of the Whitebeard pirates. No one has any objections to following his arrangements. Suddenly, all eyes were on Lin Yan. Lin Yan was helpless. What are you all looking at me for? Lin Yan looked at everyone helplessly. Do you really think of him as a lucky cat? What are you recruiting? Even if you all look at me like this, there's nothing I can do about it, right? I'm not a god, so how can I solve everything? Seeing the people in front of him who looked expectant, such as Marco and others, Lin Yan rolled his eyes angrily. There is one thing to say. Although this statement is correct, the expectation in everyone's eyes has not diminished at all. There is no way, Lin Yan has brought too many miracles. Subconsciously, everyone was about to think of him as a jingle cat. This also applies to the squad leaders. Lin Yan rolled his eyes again. It's useless to look at me. I don't know anything about management. But as for how to recover quickly, I have a good idea here. What? Marco was the first to come forward. His eyes were full of expectation and surprise. It's just a guess. I can't tell for sure. You should just go ahead and do whatever you want. Lin Yan looked at Marco with dead eyes and poured cold water on him mercilessly. As long as it's accurate, I don't care. However, Marco didn't care. After all, as long as Lin Yan's words were accurate, why would he still worry that it wouldn't work? It doesn't exist. Okay. Everyone also nodded, looking deeply convinced. Lin Yan is going numb. No, you really think of me as a treasure chest, right? But having said that, Lin Yan simply didn't bother to explain when everyone looked like they were convinced. In the end, it was Whitebeard who brought the topic back on track. After assigning tasks to the captains of each division, everyone finally left step by step. Lin Yan was finally able to escape. It is worth mentioning that Whitebeard assigned many tasks to each squad leader. But Lin Yan is not the only one among them. The meaning is already obvious. Have complete trust in Lin Yan and let him decide what to do. This heavy trust is still very heartwarming. About 10 minutes later, Lin Yan returned to his residence, sat on a chair, touched his chin and pondered. Be accurate. It's really not a lie. As we all know, there is strength in numbers, and the current Whitebeard pirates are competing for time. As long as you successfully recuperate, all difficulties will no longer be difficult. So if that's the case, can you recruit some new strong people to join? That's right. Lin Yan's desire to attract people is starting to move again. But there are also problems. Where to recruit people and who to recruit is a very serious question. The weak Lin Yan looks down upon him. Those with impure intentions don't want it either. But among these famous, powerful, and magnanimous beings on the sea, which one is not a guest of the major forces now? Are simply the leader. Smiling, Zephyr, Green Bull, they are a coincidence. Even Lin Yan can't guarantee that he will be able to recruit a strong person of this level again. After thinking for a long time, there was still no solution, so Lin Yan simply gave up. He has more important things to do right now than thinking about all this. Lin Yan, who was sitting on the chair, suddenly raised his head, a glimmer of light flashing in his eyes. System, start fishing. The sky is huge and the fishing is the biggest. And in the Summit War, Lin Yan's Mangekyo is a bit overused. This also means, his eyes were also affected a lot. Don't say anything else. My eyesight is starting to decline. Well, if Mangekyo doesn't have a cup, don't fill it with a cup. Itachi's fate was his own wake-up call. But there is no way to crack this. That is to elevate your Mangekyo Sharingan to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Thus, use all kinds of abilities as you wish. No scruples at all. Decided. Set a small goal and catch the eternal Mangekyo. If you want to live better in this world, only strength is absolutely indispensable. Absolute power is absolutely everything. After returning from Summit War this time, my bait count has reached 365, which is enough for me to fish for a year. Before, I had no time to take care of things on Mermaid Island. Now back to the Whitebeard pirates. What are you waiting for? What's more, what happened before also brought changes to Lin Yan's state of mind. I originally thought my strength was pretty good. But in the previous Summit War, even bringing along Impel Down's prisoners still caused a lot of danger to himself. Even in the end, he had to rely on Kamui to barely escape. After that, we spent a long time recuperating in Shaki's tavern. After all, it's still not strong enough. If he could penetrate the entire marine with his own strength, where would he be able to do these things now? Lin Yan took a deep breath and lowered his mind. The familiar fish pond appeared in front of him in the next second. Fish. Fish hard. The next month passed quietly. The Whitebeard pirates have undergone a lot of changes recently. Because of the victory in Summit War, everyone's faces were full of vitality. There was no longer any sadness on the Moby Dick, and everyone was focused on recuperation and work as if they had been given a shot of blood. The world is also in turmoil. However, something happened on the calm Moby Dick that had to be taken into consideration. Lin Yan hasn't been seen for a month, not eating or drinking for a whole month. Not a drop of water entered. If they hadn't known that Lin Yan was in his room and his aura was very stable, everyone would have suspected that something had happened to him. In the end, Whitebeard gave a strict order that no one should disturb Lin Yan, and the situation calmed down slightly. But despite this, Different people still watch in front of Lin Yan's room every day. I said, Marco, is Lin really okay? Josie squatted on the steps in front of Lin Yan's room dejectedly, and couldn't help but poke Marco next to him and asked. He has been exhausted lately. Due to the shortage of manpower, the work of these division captains can be said to be piled up recently. Better than 996. If he hadn't taken advantage of the opportunity to take a breather while guarding Lin Yan, Chaozi felt like he would be dead. Who knows? But we have all seen the miracles Lin has done, so just believe in him. Marco also looked like he was taking in less air and letting out more air. The majestic phoenix now looks like a quail lying flat on the ground. 2. Listening to Marco's words, Josie nodded, and then continued to shrug his head without moving. Both were trying to rest as much as possible. After all, there is a mountain of work to face tomorrow. Brothers in distress belong to. After lying on the ground like this for a long time, Marco barely managed to catch his breath before speaking again. How's that thing that Dad asked you to pay attention to recently? No news yet. Josie shook his head. Anyway, it's not a temporary matter. Dad also said to pay attention. Besides, Lin hasn't come out yet. Let's discuss it together when he comes out. Hearing this, Marco lay down on the ground again and closed his eyes. Okay. I'll be lazy for a while. You keep an eye on Lin's side. If you need anything, call me. King Meow. However, the two people who were busy taking a break did not notice it. Just when they were chatting about fishing, Lin Yan in the room has slowly opened his eyes. Okay. This wave of harvest is not bad. After a month of fishing, Lin Yan sat on the chair and stretched out. Although he didn't find any rare items, he still succeeded in making his strength even further. 30 exquisite blind box sound effects come to an end. Ding! 30 exquisite blind boxes have been opened, and the rewards obtained for host statistics are being collected. Statistics completed. Congratulations to host, you have gained 20 months of training experience. Congratulations to host, you have gained 20 months of devil fruit training experience. Congratulations to host, for gaining 20 months of observation hockey training experience. Congratulations to host, you have gained 20 months of armament hockey training experience. Congratulations host, you got the hamster doll. This damn system really has everything. Lin Yan rolled his eyes helplessly, holding the cute-looking hamster doll in his hand, and he didn't know how to complain for a moment. How about sending Ain off later? This cute thing should be quite popular with girls. I have gained more than a year of practice experience from fishing this time, which cannot be said to be very useful, at least it can be said to be better than nothing. It's enough to improve your own strength, although there is no European Emperor bloodline outbreak. But Lin Yan has nothing to be dissatisfied with. Anyway, I still have more than 300 baits left, so I will continue when I have time. Considering the current situation of the Whitebeard pirates, a month is almost enough. Lin Yan yawned, stood up from the chair, and pushed open the door. Then the first look. Then he saw Marco and Josie lying on the ground in front of their house. What are you doing? Seeing this strange scene, even Lin Yan couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. You two. Were you beaten? Lin Yan's eyes were indescribably weird. After all, the current looks of these two people are too joyful. I didn't know, I thought I was beaten. Lin? We just. You came out. Marco lay flat on the ground, subconsciously waving his hands to respond, and then suddenly reacted, and a carp jumped up. Yeah, I just saw you two lying here when I came out. Lin Yan silently glanced at Marco, who was resurrected with full health on the spot. It's hard for me to complain about you like this. In the end, he had no intention of continuing to mock the two of them. Lin Yan calmed down and spoke immediately. Did anything happen during the month I was away? What big thing can happen? In the month since you were away, we have been almost exhausted. Everything is fine, but when it comes to big things, there is really one thing. Marco looked at Lin Yan with some resentment. Why can this guy stay comfortably in the room for a month? Do you have to face a crazy job every day? Is this reasonable? This is completely unreasonable, and the point is, even if there are matters within the 17th division, all of them were dealt with by Zephyr. This hands-off shopkeeper deserves it. I'll give you a big pussy when I go up there. Do you know how envious we are? However, after the resentment, Marco did not forget the business. His face became shocked, and then he slowly said something that made Lin Yan stunned for a moment. Marine, the marshal is abdicating. Sengoku abdicated. Even Lin Yan couldn't help but froze in place when he heard the news. You know, that's Sengoku. Although the current Marine Marshal is still a subordinate of the world government, he nominally has the power to mobilize the entire world Marine. My strength is also extremely strong. As a result, he abdicated? If Lin Yan remembers correctly, he shouldn't have reached retirement age yet, right? And he also remembered the plot in the original work. 2. After Summit War, Sengoku is indeed stepping down to make way for someone new. There was a dull look on his face, but Lin Yan quickly reacted and narrowed his eyes in thought for a moment. Because of the Summit War? If nothing else, it's because of this. Marco nodded. According to the information we have obtained, it seems that the people in the world government were dissatisfied with Marine's failure, and then passed the blame to Sengoku. A few days ago, Sengoku officially announced his abdication. There is no news as to who his successor will be. After listening to Lin Yan, a trace of helplessness appeared on his face. Is Sengoku taking the blame? In fact, to be honest, Lin Yan doesn't have any bad feelings toward Sengoku. It's just that they have different positions as enemies. They become enemies simply because of their stance. Summit War failed because of Sengoku. This is a really big pot. It also fits the urinary nature of some people in world government. Thinking of this, Lin Yan couldn't help but snorted, and then looked at Marco in front of him seriously. Exactly what happened, please tell me in detail. Meanwhile, Naval Headquarters Marineford. Old man, have you really decided? Garp sat opposite Sengoku, his expression indescribably sad, and even the senbei he had been holding was not in the mood to eat at this time. The cunning rabbit dies and the lackeys are cooked, that's probably what they say. Because of the previous failure in the Summit War. In recent times, the entire Marine has been under tremendous pressure. Being pointed out by thousands of people, this is almost Marine's biggest failure ever. The responsibility was attributed to Sengoku in front of him. There is no other reason, because he is Marshal Marine. Because you sit in this position, you have to take responsibility, and the 5 elders on the world government side. Thinking of this, Garp couldn't help but clenched his fists. If he could, he really wanted to tear those people's heads off. But as a Marine, he couldn't. Looking at Sengoku with a somewhat lonely look in front of him, Garp felt extremely unhappy. As an old friend for many years, he has seen Sengoku's contribution to Marine over the years, and he can't say enough about his dedication and dedication. As a result, he was forced to this point just because of one failure. Nothing bad, old man. Looking at Garp, whose face was distorted with anger, Sengoku smiled calmly. We are not young people anymore. There is nothing to get angry about. Do you think you have lived long enough? As for what happened this time. As he spoke, Sengoku's tone paused slightly. In the final analysis, first I'm also Marine Marshal. Although there is something wrong with me, I am also responsible for this failure. Don't worry, I can live a good life even if I retire. I may live longer than an old guy like you. Longer. Sengoku pretended to smile cheerfully. But even so, the loneliness in his eyes cannot be concealed. Of course he was unwilling to do so. Over the years, he has been personally involved in the development of Marine, but in the end he was pulled out to take the blame. How could Sengoku be at peace? But in his position, it is difficult to escape the blame. Especially the attitude of the 5 elders, they are obviously very impatient with themselves. Sengoku looked up at the stars, his eyes long and long. He refused. He was helpless. With the support of all kinds of emotions. In the end, he only said one sentence. Garp, Marine will need you to take more care of me after I retire.